Life can be full of surprises, but not always the good kind. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
With exclusive buyer insights and our 100% money-back guarantee, we're confident we'll find buyers for your home. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
Hey everybody, we are live in Western New York Athletics for the biggest and baddest ever girls basketball playoff preview show. Francis Beck, Tom Prince. We're going to have a bunch of guys here today. Again, this is probably the biggest and baddest playoff preview show you've ever seen.
I got to change that a little bit. I wouldn't say it's a bunch of guys. It's a bunch of young women that we're going to have here in this.
Well, I meant guys isn't guys working with us on air.
So yeah, let's let everyone know right now who's going to be joining us on this broadcast, and let's kick this off and go right into the interview.
Yeah. So if you've been watching our preview stuff, you know our what we put out about it. This is going to be very similar to our football one we did back in the fall. So we're going to start off with a couple of player interviews for each bracket. Then we're going to talk about our bracket with our crew, with our great panelists in our room. But first, we'll do a double A. Coming up first will be Marley Drake from Jamestown, Madison Francis from Lancaster, Haley Senville from Orchard Park, and Elise Hall from Lockport.
Then we're going to go to the next bracket choices, which is Lauren Huber, Clara Strack, and Sophia Balsano from Ken West. Some big names right there.
Then we're going to go down to A2. We'll have Gretchen Dolan from Wills South and Lirsa Salaba from South Park.
Then we're going to go over to Eliza Whithead from Lewiston Porter and Kaylee Kristoff from Depew.
Then down to B2, Maggie Zittel from Eden, Reese Beaver from Southwestern, and Danny Krenzer from Falconer.
Okay, and then we're going to go Kyra Pence from Randolph, Peyton McInnes from Wilson, and Emily Anderson from Cassadaga Valley.
In Class D, we have Maddie Bring from Panama, Tangley Bestine from Westfield, and Alexis Neckers from Clymer.
Then we're going to have the Monsignor Martin, Kyla Hayes from Cardinal O'Hara, Brianna Barr from Nichols, Emily McDonald from St. Mary's, and Mariah Huss from Sacred Heart.
All right, so we have a great show coming up for you guys. We'll turn it right over now to Joe Daniel with our first guest.
Yes, thank you guys for the introduction. So I'm here with Marley Drake from Jamestown, our first interview of the day. Marley, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard a lot of nice things about you. Let's start with the questions here. Marley, you and your brother did the parent challenge with your dad. Your dad said your brother was the better free throw shooter. It seemed like in that video you disagreed. What are your thoughts on that, now that you can let everyone know?
Yeah, so first off, thank you for having me, but that challenge was pretty fun. It was funny. I think that question was definitely a little questionable. I think stats-wise, we probably have about the same free throw percentage, but when it comes to big situations with pressure on you, my brother does tend to finish well.
And you became the 7th girl in Jamestown basketball history to score 1,000 points.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels really well. It's definitely rewarding. All my life, I really have worked hard to just become the best basketball player I can possible, and a lot of work and dedication has gone into it.
How do you and your brother support each other on and off the court?
We definitely work hard together. He's one of my biggest supporters, but also my best friend. Like I said, we work very well together. Just whenever we can get into the gym, our family is very basketball orientated, and even though I have to wake them up in the mornings to get up, we just whenever we can get in the gym, we get shots up together.
And as your team enters the playoffs, what do you guys have to do to be successful on and off the court?
Yeah, so going into playoffs, we have about a week to get ready. So just to prepare well as a team, we just have to come together as a team and just know our roles on the court. And 3 of our 5 starters are seniors, so we just have to leave that all on the court and play well together.
Marley Drake from Jamestown, thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to send it over to Francis.
Thank you.
All right, I am with Madison Francis of Lancaster, of the top seeded Lancaster Legends in Class AA. You really only 3 losses so far, and we'll get into who they're against because it's awfully impressive on their own. So just tell me, what has been the key to your team's success? If you can sum it up in a sentence or two.
I would say our team success is just sticking with it, not getting in our heads, and getting defeated. Having an undefeated season last year and then losing in our regional game for our first year took a toll on us mentally. So just staying in our head and well-rounded has kept us successful so far.
All right, so you have wins over Bishop Kearney and Nichols, 2 very good teams. Kearney, in fact, the team you lost to in Rochester. So tell me, which of those wins are you more proud of as a team?
I would definitely say Bishop Kearney, only because we lost to them, and it was our first loss of last year's season. So winning them this year definitely set a statement of how we dedicated ourselves to working hard during our practices to beat and win potentially the section or state championship.
Madison, you're a player. I've seen you a couple times. You're all over the court, point guard, center. You can pretty much play it all. What do you contribute your individual success this year to?
I definitely contributed to my dad. He's worked hard from me and my brother since the time we were little, just to keep us healthy, and just overall he's been great. Just our role model, and we spent hours in the gym. Just 5 a.m. wake ups. So he's definitely been my role model this season.
Let me ask this. So usually for someone your size, you might play down low, but you played, on ball quite a bit. Is there maybe a player, either, men's or women's, or somebody that you try to model your game after?
I would say definitely Kobe. I mean, he just has that mentality where it's just like you work hard, no matter who's in front of you, big or tall, small, little, if they're older than you, no matter what, So I just try to, instill what he's instilled in everyone, and bring it out on the court.
Is there one specific skill you're most proud of?
I would definitely say my ball handling has gotten a little bit better, just penetrating to the hoop more, and, just overall getting my teammates the ball when they need it,
All right, and finally, the big question is, you made it to the Far West Regionals last year. What is it going to take for Lancaster to get beyond that point, make it to states?
I feel like we just need to play our game, and, we've built a bond so strong, just off season, on and off the court. We just became so close to each other. So that helps a lot when it comes to, knowing what your team has to do to succeed. So if we just stick to our game and not get in our heads this year, it's ours.
All right, thank you, Madison. It's Madison Francis from Lancaster. We'll send it over to Tom right now.
Welcome. I've got sophomore sensation here from Orchard Park, Haley Seinfeld. Haley, listen, you this year in Orchard Park have had a youth movement that's happened in Orchard Park, right? I want you to talk about that youth movement in Orchard Park and how it's taken over this season.
Well, all the youth has been we've worked so hard to get to where we are, and I think we just have so much potential because we've all worked so hard to get to where we are right now.
So what is part of that hard work? What has entailed that hard work? Tell me a little bit.
All the off-season work and all the coaches and stuff encouraging us to be the best we could be.
That's awesome. So you've had some really close games this year against some really good competition, right? How does that help you entering the playoffs as a young team?
The good competition is if we lost the game, it's just encouraging us to come back and win it, and it's just making us better facing these better competition teams and older teams.
So I got a fun question for you. I got one I haven't told you about.
Okay.
All right? You've come, and I've got a chance to watch you grow up through the ranks, right? Mm-hmm. I know your mother has coached you along the way. Yeah. I know your father has coached you along the way on both. So you got to tell me there, which coaching right now comes through?
Well, I would honestly both of them, because my dad's always pushing me to be the best I can be, and so is my mom too. My mom's really more helped me on the court with my skills. My dad more the mentality stuff.
I got a chance to watch you play with my son on the court when you were younger, if you remember, right?
Yep.
So, and we're teasing with that question. Obviously, they both have such an impact, right? We're just trying to have a little fun with one question there. Mm-hmm. But listen, you've also had a big injury in Orchard Park, right? Sarah McFadden got injured early in this season, right? How did the team gel together when you knew you lost such a big player like that?
Well, losing her was really, not the best thing, but we all just came together and worked the best we could to just overcome it and just get better.
So listen, you've seen right now, what's happened. You've had to overcome an injury. You had to be the youth out there learning right there on the job. What's it going to take now for Orchard Park to make a successful run in the playoffs?
Well, just with everything we've done, we need to put it all onto this court and just give it our all.
There you go. So there he is, as we've got Helly Senfield from Orchard Park. Fantastic season. She's averaging 18.9 points per game as a sophomore, as we get to see what happens, what Orchard Park does in the playoffs. Next, we turn the interview over to Joe Daniel.
Thank you, Tom. All right, so our next interview from Lockport, the Lockport Lions, Azrael Hall. Azrael, thank you for joining us today. All right, so let's get to the questions. 18.6 points per game as a sophomore. What has led up to you having a great season as a sophomore playing varsity?
I think just staying in the gym on the off season and, really practicing for what I have to do better. And my parents, they're very supportive of me playing basketball, and I just feel like I've been practicing a lot to get better and better.
Thank you. So as a leader, as a 10th grader, talk about the work you've done on and off the court in the fall, in the summer, just to have this opportunity, what you expect next year as you gain so much experience from being in the varsity team.
What I experienced when I first went on the varsity team, they accepted me into the team, and we just all work together, and we're a very good team. We have a very close bond, and we all love each other.
And what about your non-conference schedule? How has that helped you, in the season, make a run here for the AA playoffs?
I think that those games, they really helped us to get better and to learn from our mistakes and help each other know what each and every individual did wrong and what we can do better.
And as you head into the playoffs, what does your team have to do to have a successful run?
I think we just need to play as a team, stay together, and keep playing our game and how we play, and don't change anything, and just get closer and pick each other up.
Now I'm going to tell you a question I didn't ask you before. Who is an athlete, professional or college, that you look up to on a day-by-day basis?
Definitely Angel Reese.
Angel Reese?
Yeah.
Very good. Well, Ezra Hall, thank you so much for joining us today from Lockport, and we will send it to a break.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Next to him, Tim Linder next to me. My name is Stu Boyer. Francis Beck is here, and for once, we've solved the mystery of how to keep Francis quiet. I'm kidding. But let's take a look at the bracket for the AA classification, and we'll run down the matchups for you. They've just been posted, and I'll get them on my phone so I can read them. That's too far away. In Class AA, Lancaster and Niagara Falls, it's a 1 seed and the 8 seed. The 4-5 is Clarence and Williamsville North. 2-7 is Lockport and Frontier, and Jamestown and Orchard Park will play in the 3-6 game. Those games are all scheduled for the 24th. So let's take it from the top. Look at that first game, Lancaster against Niagara Falls, and let's kick it off with Tom.
I mean, listen, we know right now Lancaster is not only a top team in the AA, but a top team in Western New York, period, right? They're going to be tough to be able to take out this one. You know, when you look at these matchups right here, it's funny, but some of the 2-7 and the 3-6 matchups may be some of the best matchups in this class right here, especially when you look at Jamestown and Orchard Park just played a 1-point game, right? Just, when was it? February 8th, they played a 1-point game, 59-58. So you got to love that. Frontier has not been an easy out for anybody, right? And Lockport hasn't really played a lot of these teams yet because they play inside the NFL or the NFL division. So I'm going to tell you, I'm actually probably more intrigued by the 2-7 and 3-6 matchups.
That makes perfect sense to me. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, just to jump in, I mean, that bottom half of the bracket really is wide open, as you're going to see a half of a bracket probably be in any of these classes we go through. Like you said, Tom, you know, Lockport playing NFL schedule as opposed to, you know, obviously along with Niagara Falls, as opposed to the other 6 teams in ECIC 1. And, you know, ECIC 1, just really a juggernaut, you know, a no days off kind of league. Obviously Lancaster has been a cut above this season, but, you know, everyone else, you know, from Clarence North, Jamestown, all sort of sweeping one and getting swept by the other team, creating a kind of a log jam there. And then, you know, Frontier and OP, you know, have been competitive with just about everyone else in that league. You know, Frontier just played Jamestown and, you know, Clarence and North tough all year. They had a win over North. So those 2 games at the bottom probably, you know, as close to pick'ems as you're going to get.
Clarence actually two games, 2 wins over Will North.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
They swept North, but you know, just played last week, competitive game. So you know, always going to be tough to beat a Bill Shaw coach team 3 times in a year. So I'd expect another close one there as well.
Yep, I agree with that one.
Still some of my thunder, but the Clarence game, it would be the one I pick. Geography might have something to do it as well, but that game I would look forward to. Obviously, what Tom said about Niagara Falls at Lancaster, I mean, I guess you can mail it in, but you can mail it in.
Just a word on Niagara Falls this year, you know, as well. A lot better season from them than the past couple. Really, they've been competitive in the NFL. Had a couple solid performances. You know, won a handful of games this season. So you know, obviously the ultimate tall task in playing Lancaster, but just wanted to get a word on them as well. You know, have definitely improved over the past couple of seasons from where they were.
So basically, it's a great and extremely competitive bracket, and I would say Lancaster would be clearly the favorite. I think they have far and away the best player in Madison Francis. But it is a very competitive bracket, and the winners will play at Sweet Home on March the 2nd, and then, of course, they advance to Buff State after that.
As long as Lancaster isn't playing a game while they're looking ahead to the next game, they'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be looking ahead. Yeah, I don't.
Too many weapons.
I don't think they'll be looking ahead.
1 through 4, yeah, they're all very good, and 5 is no slouch.
So we have some players who have been interviewed by our staff, mostly Tom Francis and Joe Daniels, and we'll be hearing from them. And anybody else want to add anything else about the Class AA bracket?
No, but listen, I know we've been crowning, you know, you early on, you got to say the leader in the clubhouse is Lancaster, but there are some good teams out here that really have done, right? Clarence has proven they can go out and knock out just about anybody, right? They've done it throughout it this year, especially in some key games, right, that's out there. Like you said, I'm not betting against Will North. I mean, I won't bet against any of those guys, right?
I never bet against Coach Shaw. And as far as Clarence concerned, they were down 7 at the half against Luford, and came out in the second half like gangbusters and won that game.
And just this past week, a few days ago, they went into Depew, you know.
Yep, that's a big
consensus #1 small school, and got out to a sizable halftime lead and hung with them. got down to the wire, but Clarence pulled it out. So, to have wins over the consensus top, 1 and 2 small schools, Depew and Lockport, 2 tremendous teams.
And remember,
Depew
really took Lancaster to the brink too.
Exactly.
Right? So it just shows that Clarence could be in there, right? And then, you talk about a Ken Ricker team down in Jamestown. He's going to have them prepared. You've got a great player in Drake here that we've been talking to. We already know what she's capable of, right?
Great three-point shooter, isn't she?
It really is. And then you talk about this youth that's coming out of Orchard Park right now, right? They're getting right now. Did you look at some of the? It's an 8th, it's a 9th, it's a 10th grader, right? Yeah. It's the youth there. You know as well as I do when youth all of a sudden that switch goes off with you. Watch out, because then you become a very, very dangerous team that's out there.
Look where Orchard Park came from the beginning of the season till the end.
You can say, it's being so young, they might not know how to win, but they also might not, necessarily know how to lose some of these big games as well.
Exactly.
Well, when you're young, you have a little bit of enthusiasm, and by now, if you had any fear when the season started, that fear of making a mistake or whatever is gone. All right, that'll do it for Class AA. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the A1 classification after this short break.
There's nothing better than owning the perfect house to come home to. You've earned it, and we'll make it happen. Our local real estate experts and in-house team of financial professionals make buying or selling your home simple. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
I love being home. Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
Being home. Life can be full of surprises, but not always the good kind. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Western New York, I have the honor right now to start off the interviews with Lauren Herbert right here. Lauren is committed to play volleyball at the Division I level at Canisius. This is where, very unique on this one, right? She's averaging 16.5 rebounds a game and scoring 13.5 points per game. You don't see rebounds like that often right there, and she's absolutely been a leader. She's a 3-time All-Western New York volleyball player. She's a 2-time second-team All-State. But I'll tell you, my first question to you is, how does volleyball help you on the court, especially where you excel on the rebounds?
Yeah, well, both sports are just about working hard either way, but I've been working hard to get that vertical up for volleyball, so it's good that I utilize it in basketball too with getting the boards down low.
There's no doubt right now that you show that. Because, I mean, I've seen you attack the boards with 3 rebounds in one session, right? Really one time down the court. And really that's something you excelled at. But a fun question I got for you is which do you enjoy more, a 20-point game or 20 points or 20 rebounds in a game?
That's definitely a tough question, but my initial reaction is definitely whatever my team needs that game specifically. But I think I'd have to go with the 20 boards just because it's different.
It really is. You know, we don't see much of it anymore, right? It's always about who the scorer is, not necessarily who kept it alive and gave your team the opportunity to do that, you know. And it was funny, and I told you I wasn't going to, but the person we always knew as that player, especially when he talk about the NBA, was Dennis Rodman, right? Who really was about rebounding is all that it was. And what did he do is he helped the Bulls go to how many championships because of it, right? And that mentality is tough to find in a true teammate right there. But here's the difference. When you need to flip and go to that scorer's side, you can do that and show that you're capable of that too. So I know it was a tough run at the end of the season here for Sweet Home, but how does Sweet Home quickly get momentum back on their side?
Yeah, I definitely think those games don't define us as a team because we've been working hard all season, and going into this playoff run, it's a new season for us, and we're ready to work hard for those games.
So the last thing is, what does Sweet Home have to do in the playoffs to make a run?
Each player on the court has to do their thing, whether it's their shooting or rebounds or like ball handling, like whatever. Everyone's got to do their part so we can all come together as one and get those wins.
So I know you've got your volleyball side, right? What's the most memorable moment so far that you've had so far on the basketball side?
Basketball? I think just not even like the games, or probably pre-games, I think, with hanging out with the team and stuff. We have a great bond together, and we're all great friends, so it's just fun to be together.
Fantastic. Well, listen, we are now going to turn over to our next interview as we kick it over to Joe Daniel.
All right. Thanks, Tom. I'm here with Claire Strack from Hamburg. I actually grew up in Hamburg, so this is an honor for me to have you here with me today. So, Clara, back in January, you became Hamburg's all-time leading scorer, a record that was previously held for 22 years. How special a night was that for you and your family?
It was just really great because it's really great to get honored for something that you've worked so hard for, just something to really show you that all your hard work did pay off.
And how does your team and you feel going into the playoffs?
We're definitely excited. We've had a pretty good season this year. We've had a couple setbacks throughout the season, a couple different injuries with different people. But I think we're excited for playoffs, and we're hoping to get another section win this year.
What is something your coach preaches to you every day in a game and in practice?
So one of the main things that we try to capitalize on is we all want to be in the best shape possible so we can beat all the other teams up and down the floor. That's really something that we've worked on since the beginning of the year. We run a lot in practice. We all do work out of practice, and in the preseason, we're all running. So it's something that we try to do.
What has your time been like playing for Hamburg?
It's been really great. I really have enjoyed my experience the past 4 years being on varsity, and I think that just especially the past 2 years, our team has had super close bonds with each other. We're all really good friends, so I think that's just something really enjoyable about it.
And you are committed to Virginia Tech for basketball. How exciting is that for you?
I'm very excited. It's something that I've always dreamed of.
So Clara, finally, just before I let you go here, tell me about a special moment that you've had, maybe not this year, but as a Bulldog playing high school basketball.
Really, I'd have to talk about just the last 2 years. Our team is just, like I said, it's just so close, and I think it's really special to play for a team that everyone is so close in because it carries on and off the court. We always have each other's backs, and we hang out all the time. It's just a fun experience.
And lastly, something I don't tell anyone I'm asking, but favorite athlete that you look up to, sports or college?
Probably Brianna Stewart.
Yeah.
I just really like her game. So.
Awesome. Well, Claire Schreck from Hamburg, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to send it over to Francis for our next interview.
All right, I'm with Sophia Balsano of Kenmore West. Sophia, thank you for joining us. We've had your brother Brock has helped us out in the past with some games, but we're finally having Sophie on. So you guys are the top seed at in Class A1 division. You lost. I know you lost the other day to Lockport in the NFL championship. So, but still a good season so far. What's been the key to your team's success?
I guess just like encouraging us. We have a lot of times where we're down, and during halftime, we just gotta come together and communicate with each other. At the end of the day, you just gotta do what you gotta do and play each other's games. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses, and we just gotta come together.
And I know Coach Jeff Martin is very good with that, right?
Yeah.
I know he's a great guy. So you're obviously their leading player. I think I saw you averaging about 15 points per game this year. What's been the key to your individual success on the court?
Honestly, it's just creating space. Change of motion. You gotta make sure the girl's off your hip, and you gotta mentally, you gotta have just like a shooting mentality. You gotta keep shooting and work hard.
This is a big question. This could be something that you've always had done really well, or something maybe developed. What aspect of your game are you most proud of right now?
I think just keep coming to practice every day, working hard, getting extra shots up after school, after practice. Make sure you want it really bad. So I think it's just getting the extra work in.
All right, and finally, this is the big question. You guys reached the semifinals last year, needing it past that. Now you're the number 1 seed, so high expectations. What does this team need to do in order to get to the finals this year and maybe beyond?
I think at the end of the day, it's just defense. It's just every day in practice, we work so hard on defense. Just we have to bring it to our game now. We just got to work as a team.
All right. Oh, I don't know where. Oh, am I the one tossing the break? Yes, I am. All right. So we're going to take a short break. I forgot where I was. It's a long day. Plus, I blame Heidi. She's already taken enough slack today, I know. All right. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to go back to Stu and the gang, and we're going to talk about this A1 bracket and this top-seeded Kenmore West Blue Devils. This is the 2023 Girls Basketball Playoff Preview Show on WNY Athletics.
Does he do car? Forget about it. How about home? Forget about it. Does he get good rates? Forget about it. And you're saying there's no problem too big for this guy? Forget about it. Paul, this is Johnny, the guy we've been talking about. Johnny, this is Paul Wolf.
Mr. Wolf, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for the invite.
Not a problem. It's Paul, not Mr. Wolf.
Oh, sorry, Paul.
Johnny, forget about it. For all your insurance needs, call 835-WOLF and...
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Welcome back to our girls basketball playoff preview show. Our panel is Tom Prince, Roger Weiss, Tim Lindner, and my name is Stu Boyer. And now we take a look at the Class A1 bracket. Let me get it up here on my phone and break it down. Top seed, Kenmore West against West Seneca West. 4 and 5, Hutch Tech versus Sweet Home. Hamburg against Williamsville East, and North Tonawanda against Niagara Wheatfield. The winners will play on the 28th at Will North, and those winners will play on March 5th at Buff State. So we'll start with Tom again. Tom, which matchup do you think is the most interesting here?
Honestly, this is where you're probably looking at most of the higher seeds should be the higher seeds for a reason here. Mm-hmm. A 4-5 seed should be an interesting matchup, right? That's probably the big matchup right there that I would think that's out there, where you're really going to be talking about which strength is going to come out in that game, right? You got a big score there in Perkstar, right over there at Hutch Tech, right? You've got Sweet Home, who's got a couple scores there. We talked to Herbert today, who I believe is one of the most underrated basketball players that we may have in Western New York, because she does something very unique, and that is she's almost averaging 20 rebounds a game. And she really does keep stuff alive. But otherwise, the funny part about this bracket, right, is they're all coming from different divisions, right?
Right,
This
a lot of-
really isn't
a lot of interleague.
that they've played a ton. Really, the only matchup where you're talking about is a big divisional matchup is a North Tonawanda Niagara Wheatfield one that's out there.
Yeah,
and,
correct.
And I was just looking at their scores. So North Tonawanda won a 1-point game versus Niagara Wheatfield in their one time that they played right there. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And then they won 48-32 earlier on this season, a 1-point game just recently. So you got to think right there. We talked about it earlier, Tim, that it's very tough to beat a team 3 times in a row. You just
for
had
sure.
a 1-point game. Can you see that they get over the hump, Niagara Wheatfield, and somehow make an upset right there of a number 3 seed?
Yeah, it's certainly possible. I mean, this A1 bracket is one of the deeper. For only having 8 teams, it's certainly a deep bracket in that. I would say Hamburg certainly the favorite. I would say. Looking for that rematch potentially with Will South in the crossover. Not to get ahead of ourselves too much, but
Well, those two teams really good. You would like to get after each other.
it's really a good mix of ECIC 2, arguably the deepest league in Section 6 this year, and NFL with Kenmore West as a top seed. Had a great season in the NFL. Dropping the final to Lockport, but no shame in that with the juggernaut that Lockport's been. But yeah, that going back to that 4-5 matchup, interesting clash of leagues there with Hutch Tech coming out of the BPS, and Jamia Green is their top player, very great scorer in her own right. I believe the leading scorer in the BPS this year, or right up there with the leading scorers. So it'd be interesting to see how they can hang if they can hang with Sweet Home. We've had a little bit of an up and down year. Sweet Home last year really rolled through ECIC 2, swept South in the regular season, and then were bit by the injury bug again with Lauren Hubert missing the postseason last year. They're fully healthy this year as it stands, but have lost a few games recently, but certainly have the talent to get it rolling and make a deep run in the sectionals.
Well, a little bit of good news for Hamburg is Clara Strack is now back and 100% healthy. That's huge for them.
Oh, for sure.
Stu, can I clarify something? And I apologize. I said Perks with Hutch Tech, and that's City Honors, and that's my mistake. I made that mistake, so I want to clarify that. I apologize. And thank you for bringing that up, Tim.
Oh, no.
No, I appreciate that.
You only got 500
got
so
all these
players
teams
in the section here, right?
Right? So I apologize. I want to make that apology that I said that first and shouldn't have said that name. So, but, Rod's fun.
I guess Tim's going to let me be the heavy on this one. If there is a chance that a number 8 could knock off a number 1, it is West Seneca West has a chance against Kenmore West. West Seneca West, obviously in a much tougher league than Ken West is in, and do not count out a Joe Doherty coach team. Like I say, I'm sure if Ken West brings anywhere near their A game, they will probably win. If they're looking ahead to the winner of the 4-5 matchup, look out. West Seneca West could steal one.
That's a good point. It's something we don't talk about a lot. In fact, when I talk about a lot about this, when we go to the softball, baseball end of the world, right?
Yep.
Because what happens is that West Seneca West plays an ECIC 1 is what they play in. So they play the top teams in Western New York day in and day out. So they've seen it, they've lived it, they've learned how to improve upon it, and you're absolutely right. Like,
They're
don't
battle
count them out.
tested.
Yeah.
Kenmore West is not.
But Kenmore West deserves a ton of congrats for what they've done this season.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, to come out of, I know, Tim, I had them ranked many times this week, or this week during the season at that 9-10 spot right there with some of the big teams in Western New York.
Oh, for sure. I mean, beyond just their record on the season, which is, tremendous. Went 12-2, 12-3, I believe now with the second loss to Lockport in the NFL. But lost to Lockport, and the only loss was a split on the season series with Lockport, who's another Class AA team. 2 seed in Double-A. But they have gone out in the non-league and played some very tough teams. They have a win over Orchard Park recently. They have a win over Star Point, who's had a tremendous season in A2. We'll talk about a little later on. They had a close loss to Amherst, another solid ECIC2 team. So they've certainly played their fair share of non-league competition. So not necessarily saying that going to pick an upset, but just I think we're just bringing up the fact that West Seneca West playing in such a deep league themselves. You might look at 0-12 and say, might be a cakewalk for a top seed, but
it's
like
definitely not a cakewalk. But give them credit. Their last 4 wins come Niagara Falls, Niagara Wheatfield, Orchard Park, and North Tonawanda, right? And then the loss to Lewiston Porter that you said in there. But no doubt, I agree with you. I think this is a team. That should be a very interesting game. And then just so everybody gets a feel from the ECIC1 where the wins from West Seneca West have come from, Tonawanda, West Seneca East, Mount Mercy, Lackawanna, West Seneca East again is where it came out to. So obviously tough inside conference, but like we've said, is what did they learn inside that conference to be able to help them be able to make out a run right there?
So anybody want to go out on a limb and definitely pick the upset instead of saying it could happen? All right, Roger's going to go pick the upset. All right, and on that note, we'll wrap up Class A1 and we'll come back with Class A2 after this break.
There's nothing better than owning the perfect house to come home to. You've earned it, and we'll make it happen. Our local real estate experts and in-house team of financial professionals make buying or selling your home simple. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
I love being home. Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
You're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
Being home. Life can be full of surprises, but not always the good kind. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Western New York, I'm honored in this next interview. I have one of the top players here in Western New York. One unbelievable scorers here in Western New York. She right now is the leading scorer at Will South basketball. I have it currently at 2,518 points. I may be off a little bit, but that's how I figured it out from the Amherst game to what it is now. Averaging 39.5 points per game. She's got 350 point games this season. Gretchen Dolan right here, committed to play at Illinois. Gretchen, I'm so glad you were able to join us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Gretchen, you've had some of the top schools in not only in Western New York, right, but in the country come after you as far as a player that's out there. Talk about what made you choose Illinois.
I think choosing Illinois, it was a hard decision, but the relationships I built with those coaches was something special, and that was what was important to me in the recruiting process, was finding those relationships that I felt comfortable, and that the coaches that just believe in me, and they really showed that throughout the whole process.
That's incredible. When you know you've got that walking into a scenario like that, it is something special, no doubt about it. You've had some great games this season. Talk about some of the games that stood out to you so far this season.
I think this season, the O'Hara game was big. That was a big win for us. That everyone stepped up in that. They're a great team, and we've had some really good battles with them in the recent years. So it was definitely a fun game. Hamburg, that's always a fun game when we played them. All the league games have been really fun to watch. So I think those were some of the big games.
Gretchen, scores, right, sometimes when they're having a rough game, press, right? You'll see them press to score. Mm-hmm. I got to be honest with you. I've seen you now play multiple times, and I've seen your game come to a completely another level this year, because it doesn't matter where on the floor you're going to go, you're going to find a spot. Whether it's driving to the hoop, whether it's the mid-range jumper, or whether it's the three-point shot, you've got every single part of it in your arsenal. Last year in Western New York, you were already a top scorer, right? One of the top scorers, if not the top scorer in Western New York. You not only do that again this year, but I really believe you've also taken your game to another level because of that, right? You've probably done it with way less shots even this year. Talk about how you've taken your game this year to a completely next level.
Yeah, I think just letting it come to me naturally was a big thing for me this year. Last year, like you said, I was the leading scorer, but I think this year I am more efficient. And that's was something that I wanted to improve upon coming into this year, is being more efficient. Because I have girls around me that are like such weapons on the team, and that's also part of it, trusting them. There have been times this year when, teams just try and take me away, and then they have to come out of what defense they're in just solely because of my teammates stepping up. And it just, so they've been really big.
And I got to be honest with you, I saw it really the first time when I did that Sweet Home game where I was actually there. And it didn't matter what got taken away from you. You went and found then what they're going to give you as the opening. And I got to give you props for really taking the next level of your game, because it's hard to do, right? Somebody that's already been the number one scorer to say, I want you to improve even more. And you went out and did that. There's no doubt about it. So because of that, Will South's got the bullseye on your back, right? Everyone's going after him. Right now, everyone is, if they've circled a game on their schedule, right, for the playoffs, it's Will South. So how do you go after a repeat? What does Will South have to do to repeat again?
I think just staying focused every day. That's big, just heading into the postseason. We have a couple really good days of practice coming up. So just staying focused and, just focusing on what we like to do best in the games and, what our priorities are. The fundamentals, take care of the ball, rebounding, stuff like that. But, yeah, I would just say coming together. It is a postseason, but there's still so much that we want to work on, and that we know we have room to grow and everything.
Like I said, Western New York, this is one of the top players, somebody that we should absolutely, if you haven't seen her play, get out. She's been unbelievable this year. She's ready to take the next level. We got a Division I basketball player, Gretchen Dolan. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to now kick it over to
All right, Tom, thank you so much. So I'm with Lucy Sabala from South Park Sparks. Thank you for joining us. All right, so your team went 13-5 this year, What led to your team's success on the court?
I think what led to my team's success on the court was keeping up the great defense and uplifting each other even when we made mistakes.
Trusting your teammates, right defense, leading the offense. So to be successful in the playoffs, your team has to do what?
Keep up the great defense and keep helping each other. That's what has led us to win so many games, and I think that's what's going to help us in the playoffs.
What is something your coach preaches to you day in and day out?
Sorry?
Oh, what does your coach preach to you day in and day out?
Keep my eyes up, pass the ball, and dribble with my right every day.
And what can you tell me about your 120 assists on the year and 117 steals? That's incredible.
It is. I got to thank my teammates because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have that many assists. They always have my back. They're always ready to catch the ball and shoot. And steals, just keeping up the great defense.
What's better, scoring a basket or helping your teammates score a basket?
Helping my teammates score a basket 100%.
So who's a professional athlete, college or in the pros, that you look up to?
I look up to Kobe because of the Mamba mentality, not letting nothing bring me down, and just shake it off and do my best on the next play.
And what do you do to help lead the team as a senior out there, having some experience playing varsity basketball?
I think what I do as a senior to help my teammates is just calm down, maintain my cool, and just lead them to victory with the knowledge I've been given throughout this 4 years playing varsity.
Lucy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
Lucy
having me.
Sabala for the South Park Sparks. We're going to take a quick timeout. You are watching the 2023 Girls Basketball Playoff Preview Show. When we come back, we're going to have the A2 bracket discussion in just a minute.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
All alone is the number 1 seed, and whoever comes out of here will have a chance to play South on March 1st at Will North. The rest is to be determined, and here are the matchups. If Francis will get that graphic up. 4 and 5 game is Emerson out of Buffalo against Amherst, the 5 seed. South Park, number 2, will play CSAT, and number 3, Starpoint, will play Grand Island in the 3-6 matchup. And let's start this time with Tim and get his take, and then we'll work our way down to Tom.
Yeah, well, I mean, A2, you look at the top of that bracket, and you obviously have to start with Will South. Just a tremendous season, a 19-1 regular season. Just had an early season loss to Nichols, but ever since then, been rolling along. Have a tremendous win over Cardinal O'Hara, and to go 12-0 in ECIC2. Again, we touched on how deep and strong ECIC2 is this year. To really roll through that, and I believe had one of those 12 games was decided by single digits. So just to have that on your resume, obviously makes you the favorite in Class A2 and probably all of Class A at this point. But everybody knows about the tremendous play of Gretchen Dolan. You also have Leah Solomon, Kamora Berry, among others, who have really come along as the season's progressed, and have South looking to make a very deep run in playoffs.
Tom, which one of these matchups is the most intriguing to you?
if you don't mind putting the graphic back up right there, Francis, for us, is the one that I was looking at, which is very intriguing, and a team, watch out, I like the run they've been doing right now, is that Star Point team, right? They seem to be one of the dangerous teams out there that nobody's really talking about. And that, to me, is going to be intriguing to see, especially because they wouldn't have to meet Will South if they can make the run all the way to, the finals at Buff State. But don't count them out in the mix of things right in here. And then, of course, you always love a 4 or 5 seed. Amherst has already come up with a couple big wins this season over some bigger teams right there. I won't be surprised to see Amherst be able to do that. And then South Park, listen, they got a very intriguing coach over there that we talk about many times on the football front. He is absolutely phenomenal what this man has done for the football team over at Maryville, and he's doing the same thing for the basketball team over at South Park. People just love playing underneath him, and when you love your coach that much, man, it really does show out there on the court or on the field, and he's somebody that really is a difference maker.
We're talking about Nick Tadero, are
That's
we not?
exactly who we're talking about.
I'm a believer. I'm a fan of him. A couple of things you mentioned. Yes, let's face it. Class A, A1, A2, everybody from our perspective on the outside is patiently waiting for the crossover between Hamburg and Will South the Tuesday following. Until then, anything, if that does not develop, it's going to be a disappointment. Having said that, Amherst and Emerson, I like Amherst's chances. Amherst's chances against Emerson. And lo and behold, Amherst versus Will South. Has that ever happened before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
we seem to always find a way that matchup come sectional time for a third time. But
unbelievable. But again, Will South and Hamburg, that's what, 3 weeks away?
We'll see.
That's my input.
But
go ahead, Tim. I'm sorry.
No. And just another word on Star Point to start. Just a team. We love to talk about stars, but really Star Point is the epitome of a team this year. 1 through 5, their starters can all get it done. They've had numerous leading scorers throughout the season. Again, playing in ECIC2, yet another strong ECIC2 team. I would definitely say they're would be my favorite to make it out of the bottom half of that bracket. But also want to mention South Park, led by Lirsi Sabala, just a tremendous all-around player. In the Buffalo Public League this year. Not just a scorer, but a great rebounder, a good passer, can get out and lead the break and find open teammates very well. So just a shout out to her and then the South Park team for putting together a very good season as well.
If it pans out that way, Star Point versus South Park would be a very interesting semifinal.
Yeah, it could be a fun matchup for sure.
And that's why I was saying Star Point may be one of the most underrated teams right now in Western New York, about a team not being talked about when you think about it.
Well,
I do want to bring up one thing, because I know she's been talked about a ton, but I just interviewed her, and I really want to make this point loud and clear. Okay, Gretchen Dolan, what she has done this year from a playing standpoint has been extraordinary. Very rarely can you go to somebody that is the top scorer in your area and say, I want you to improve your game and get better, and they actually do it, right? Because I really believe, and I didn't do the exact examination, but when you look at the shots she's taking this year versus last year, she has scored just about the same amount of points this year with nowhere near the shot opportunities.
Oh yeah, their percentage is incredible for the scoring near just about or just over. I'm not sure exactly what it ended up at, but right around 40 points a game.
39.5 is what she ended up with. Yeah,
and to do that on she's not taking 35, 40 shots a game here by any stretch. She's distributing the ball very well. And facing double and triple teams, or a lot of junk as you call it, junk defenses in a lot of games as well, and just to be able to still produce, not just points but all the other statistics as well, along with a 19-1 record is just.
Well, you talk about junk defenses. what about all those one-on-ones she played in her driveway against those older siblings of hers?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this, that Tom and I did the Williamsville South Sweet Home game at South. Gretchen was terrific, but what impressed me was 2 nights later, she went into Cardinal O'Hara, put that team on her back, and beat an outstanding O'Hara team.
Bingo.
So I would say that was most impressive. Any final thoughts on A2, guys? Are we all going to wrap this one up? All right. We'll wrap this one up in A2 when we'll be back as we begin our look at the B division after this break.
I love being home.
There's nothing better than owning the perfect house to come home to. You've earned it, and we'll make it happen. Our local real estate experts and in-house team of financial professionals make buying or selling your home simple. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
I love being home.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
Being home.
Life can be full of surprises, but not always the good kind. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Welcome back to our 2023 Girls Basketball Playoff Preview Show. I'm with Eliza Whitehead of Lockport, who has stepped up last minute. We were originally going to have her teammate on, Sophie Auer, but she fell ill today. So Eliza, like a good teammate, is stepping up to the plate. So Eliza, I'm going to ask you these questions. So I was looking at your your schedule and everything from last year, and I looked at it from this year. Pretty much the same thing. NFL champs. You just beat Kenmore West. Tough non-league schedule. So on paper, this looks exactly the same. You guys obviously made it to Far West Regionals. We'll get into more a little bit later. Why is this different? You know, what is the story of the season beyond what you can see on the Section 6 website?
Yeah, this year we've had a lot of new players coming in our offense. We've got a lot of like bench players that we've been able to incorporate into our lineups. It's changed a lot. We sub in a lot. Like every lineup is different for like.
All right, and then so let me ask this. So, we know about Sophie. You know, she takes a lot of the, but she's a good teammates like you. What's been the key to your success out on the floor?
Well, this year I've been more of like a quiet leader on the court. Obviously, Sophie is a powerhouse and she helps our team a lot. I'm able to motivate my teammates and pass the ball well and knock down shots when it's needed.
This is a pretty. I think this is a pretty interesting question. Maybe you'll disagree, or Tom will. What aspect of your game are you most proud of? Whether it's something you've been trying to work on that maybe the past few months, or something that you've just always been good at and you always rely on. What is that?
I think my court sense, even though it's not like looked on a lot, I think I'm able to find players and pass the ball well and help my team out in that way.
All right, your team made it to Far West Regionals last year. You lost to Waterloo.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, what is it going to take for the Lewiston Porter Lancers to take the next step and go to states this year?
Obviously, we're going to have to work hard. We're all going to have our heads in the game. It's going to be difficult. We have a lot of highly talented team like Depew and Waterloo probably, and we'll be ready. I'm excited.
All right, thank you, Eliza, for joining us last minute. I'm going to send it over to Tom Prince.
I'm excited right now. I've got from Depew. She's Division I right now commit. Kaylee Kristoff. Kaylee, I'm so excited that I'll be able to talk to you today. Really, this has been such an unbelievable year when you look at what Depew has done. If I would have said to you before it started here, you're going to go 18-2. Your only two losses are going to be to two large school teams, and they are going to be great games, close games. What do you say to that?
I mean, obviously, it feels great to know that we accomplished our goals of, like, almost getting revenge on these teams. And even though we didn't win those games, it kind of felt like a win to us because we still played together great as a team. We came back when we needed to, and we gave those teams a run for their money, which I'm sure they weren't expecting from a school like Depew.
Well, Clarence better have expected it because when she did it to Lancaster, it was coming, right? But when it happened with Lancaster, that may have been the eye-opening to the season for everybody that goes, if you did not think Depew was legit, you better right now recognize.
Yeah, I mean, it feels awesome to know that, I guess Depew's kind of getting their, accolades that they deserve. I mean, no one really expects a team, as small as us, and we only have 8 girls on the team, and Lancaster and Clarence have at least, 5 girls on the bench. Yeah. No one really expects us to, come out and, almost throw the first punch in the game.
Well, listen, you got 2 phenomenal players. We're going to talk about that in a second, right? But you are there is something about your game. There's a reason you are as good as what you are. You are now a Division I commit where you're going to be going to Binghamton. I want you to talk about what went into that decision to go to Binghamton.
I mean, it was the hardest decision I've had to make in my entire life. I loved all the coaches that I've talked to. It was hard to tell them no. But Binghamton, it felt right. I mean, I know Ella Wanzer goes there, and I know one of my teammates also had an offer there, and I know she was very interested in Binghamton, and she's committed there now. So we're going there together, and I love Coach Ord, and just everything about the program is just great. The school's beautiful. I just fit really well there.
And like I said, like I told you before we started, my son goes to Binghamton, and he loves it there. I mean, he wouldn't have wanted any other place. So I get why you've made that decision. But you got a 1-2 punch that's unbelievable, right? You and me, Evanelli, have just been phenomenal this year, especially on the court. You feed off each other real well. I want to really is, how do you guys work together on the court? Because you're both scorers, right? You both can score at any time. Talk about how you two really work together.
I mean, I think that's the great thing about us. We, like you said, we have a 1-2 punch. So when one of us is going off, the other one's kind of like, okay, here's the ball, go off. But I've been on the team with her since I was in 8th grade. She was in 7th, so we've grown together, and we kind of know what each other's gonna do. So when we're on the court together, it's just we have that mental thing with each other.
That's and so that shows it. So you think longevity has a big play in that?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, wow, that's I mean, it really. Listen, and Mia, we already know is Division I softball player,
yes.
right? And she probably could have, if she wanted to play basketball along the way, could have easily made that decision too. But it is really fun to watch you two out there, and just the shows is you can't focus on one because the other's going to hurt you out there. Is
yes.
what's going to happen. So, but this is very different. Now you go into the playoffs. You got a bullseye on your back, right? Yes. You got everyone circling that game on the calendar. What does Depew have to do to go and advance inside the playoffs?
I mean, just listen to Coach. She puts together a great scout every game, and just listen to her game plan, and we just got to follow through on everything she asks us to do, and if we do that, then we have a great chance this year.
Awesome. Well, listen, good luck this season. No doubt all of Western New York's got their eyes on this team right here. It can't go under the radar anymore, right? But listen, great season right here by Kaylee. And we're going to right now go to break as we now get a chance to hear from our panel.
Does he do car? Forget about it. How about home? Forget about it. Does he get good rates? Forget about it. And you're saying there's no problem too big for this guy? Forget about it. Paul, this is Johnny, the guy we've been talking about. Johnny, this is Paul Wolf.
Mr. Wolf, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for the invite.
Not a problem. It's Paul, not Mr. Wolf.
Oh, sorry, Paul.
Johnny, forget about it. For all your insurance needs, call 835-WOLF and...
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Welcome back to our girls basketball playoff preview show. Our panel is Tom Prince, Roger Weiss, Tim Lindner, and I'm Stu Boyer. And now we take a look at the B1 bracket. Lewiston Porter all alone at the top of that bracket, and lurking in that bracket is Depew, the 3 seed. And Tom, kick it off. A lot of games in this bracket and some interesting matchups, so take it away, Tom.
Well, we're going to let Francis get the bracket up so we can see it.
That would be a very good idea. That's the way to kick it off. Get that bracket up there.
So, so listen, this is another one that we're going to be talking about, right? That's kind of all over the place here. It may not be the first round matchup that's going to be big. It could be more or less the second round matchups where we're going to be big, because this is such a deep conference, as we know how it is, right? So when you look on there is... you really gotta say is the top seeds probably advance here is what we're talking about. And because of that, because there's some big disparities as far as when you talk about some of the rankings right here. But I love what we're going to start to see is some of these matchups that, that come to fruition. Like, for example, Pioneer East Aurora, if that plays out, that's going to be a great matchup there.
Split during the regular season.
Yep. I mean, City Honors Iroquois is another one. Iroquois is another one of those teams, right, that played up this year.
Exactly. Another ECIC2 team.
Yep, played up in conference. That really what we're going to look to see is how are they going to play out right there, because they, even as a team that did not have a winning record inside conference, was still getting ranked inside the top 10 small schools because of exactly what they were doing and what we talked about with the whole West Seneca West situation.
Right, yeah. I mean, you want to piggyback on that, with the potential 2-7 matchup with City Honors and Iroquois. It was looking like with some of the seedings, how the seedings played out, it was very close with some of the teams, and it was potential for Iroquois to potentially play either Lockport or Depew in the quarterfinals, which would have been a really, not the team that a top seed wants to play. A battle-tested, talented Iroquois team in the quarterfinals. But it looks like they're going to get, assuming that Iroquois does defeat Albion, a tough NOL team in the pre-quarterfinals, they'd get City Honors in the quarters. Definitely one I'd circle on my calendar to get to. And then, obviously on the top you have Lockport, and the bottom you have Depew. Everyone is
That's what
anticipating
they're
that matchup again. With 15-team bracket, you never know what's going to happen. A lot of teams, a lot of quality teams make up this Class B1 bracket, but there's certainly the potential for a rematch of Lockport versus Depew, who played that instant classic in the B1 final last season, to go for round 2, which would be probably another tremendous Class B1 final.
Well, Tom and I did that game, and it was one of those games that you just hated to see either team lose. It was that great game. Anybody want to talk a little bit about City Honors? We don't want to disrespect them. They are the second team, so somebody tell me a little bit about
Now I
City
can
Honors.
talk about Ava, right?
Yeah, there you go. And yes.
But, 1,000-point scorer right there. We know that she could put points up on the board, right?
Oh, for
and
sure.
it's sometimes in these games when you're talking about that, that close matchup right there is who could be somebody that takes over a game. She's one of them.
Yeah, for sure. She's a great presence inside, but can also handle the ball on the perimeter. It'd be an interesting matchup against presumably Iroquois. Iroquois, a smaller roster, doesn't have a ton of size this year, so it'd be
Or a
interesting
ton
to
of
see.
luck.
Yeah, been hit hard by the injury bug. Do have a couple of key players back for the last couple of weeks, so put together a couple of strong performances lately. But again, that's potential 2-7 would be something I'd definitely plan on attending in person at City Honors. Would be probably next Saturday if that does take place. Another interesting pre-quarter I wanted to shout out the 6-11 between Springville and Olean. Olean, 11 seed, but again playing in a very deep league down in the CCAA against some very quality opponents. Another well-coached team led by Leah Williams, who's had a standout senior campaign for Olean. Had to put the team on her back a lot this year, but against a Springville team, again, led by Reese Owens, the younger sister of Kenzie Owens, who's now playing at St. Mary's. But sort of a more veteran team in Olean against a younger-led squad in Springville could be one of the standout pre-quarterfinal matchups in the 6-11.
Tim, I talk about Olean all the time in any of the sports. That is a team you do not want coming in, period, right?
Yes.
I don't care who you are, you do not want them coming in.
Yeah.
Of any team in Western New York, right? And listen, I know we've got some of them, but that team knows how to travel, knows what they go into, understands what they've got to deal with when it comes to it, and I'll tell you, they are one of the toughest teams, period, year in, year out, and especially here on the basketball court. I'm right there with you. Watch out. That could be the one that we're talking about as a possible upset.
So I guess it might. Would anyone want to argue that it might come down to, let's say, for argument's sake, the three best players are on Depew, Lewiston Porter, and City Honors? Is that fair? And it might come down to how the three best players in the classification perform.
Well, you bring up
possible.
something, Stu. Excuse me, Jim.
No, go ahead, Rod.
How does Coach Soko at Iroquois, what's his strategy against City Honors? Does he make the other four players beat him and go all out against Ava Perks? Or does he concede what Ava's going to do and make sure the other four don't burn him?
Yeah, it's interesting, and talking about the top, some of the top players for Iroquois, it would be remiss if I didn't shout out Molly Meskel.
Yeah.
It's really come on, missed most of the first half of the season, again with injuries, just like McKenna Sidabaldi's missed time. Emma Bracken's currently out for the season, I believe, for Iroquois. She played very well in the first half of the season, but Molly Meskel's really been coming on. She had a couple recent, I believe, 30-point or close to 30-point games in conference play. So she's certainly in that mix of some of the top players in B1, and against again that potential Iroquois City Honors matchup would really include a matchup of two of the top players in the bracket in the quarterfinals.
Tom, they had such a crazy year. One girl comes in on crutches, and in the same game, another girl leaves on the same set of crutches to go get an X-ray, and this happened 2 different times. She was this year for Coach Soko. If it wasn't for bad luck, he had no luck at all.
Well, you got to have some good luck to win it all. Go ahead, Tom. What do you got?
One more comment, guys. I won't be surprised because we've been talking about a lot of stars throughout Western New York. One defense, you brought up a defense that we may be able to see is, don't be surprised if we see a lot of boxing one this, you know what I mean, that's coming up right here.
Yeah, that's certainly possible. You look at the top, the consensus top 2 teams in this bracket in all of small schools in Lockport and Depew, and you may think, throw a boxing one at Sophia or throw a boxing one at Kaylee Kristoff, but both teams really have a very strong second option in Eliza Whitehead for Lockport and Mia Vanelli of softball fame, but it was also really really come on the basketball court this year as a 1B to the 1A of Christoph, and
I agree.
both teams have just far from one-dimensional. And also other players on both teams as well have stepped up, but those 1-2 punch have proven strong for both of those teams.
And again, I agree with you with the 1-2 punch, but I think there are some teams that may have that star that's leading the way, that box and one, what it does is it helps you double team anywhere on the court in essence, with help from from that person that's obviously doing defender. And the key to that too, Tim and Raj, that defense, is you can change it constantly who is on that one, so that you really have a fresh player in essence trying to play and run around with that player one-on-one.
Right.
Except if you do it against Gretchen Dolan, then you put the box on Gretchen Dolan and let the one cover the other four.
Well, the next games in this bracket are scheduled for February 25th. They are all at 12 noon, and that is going to do it for B1. We're going to take a quick break and be back with B2 after this break.
I love being home.
There's nothing better than owning the perfect house to come home to. You've earned it, and we'll make it happen. Our local real estate experts and in-house team of financial professionals make buying or selling your home simple. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
I love being home.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
You're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
Being home.
Life can be full of surprises, but not always the good kind. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Welcome back, girls basketball fans, as we are now into our next division here as we're at the Class B1. And joining me right now from Eden is Maggie Zittel. Maggie, I'm excited to have you here today.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
Listen, one of the top teams here in Western New York, and I probably would say is, as silly as this sound, flying under the radar a little bit, right? Not getting as a lot of the publicity as they should. They are currently on a 9-game win streak right now. How do you keep that momentum going into the playoffs?
Well, our whole team shares the ball really well, so everyone on our team is capable of scoring, so we just keep up the ball movement and let everybody play their own game.
Yeah, you talk about ball movement, and so I want to feed off a question off that. So you talk about ball movement and really having a team play. You've got such a short bench. You've only got right now really 7 players right now with playing time that's out there. How do you do that and be able to keep it so that you can make sure everyone's getting their time and not getting into foul trouble, right? And playing the defense and doing all those things. Oh, and by the way, still on a 9-game win streak.
Well, staying out of foul trouble is definitely really important for us since we have such a short bench because we have to pull someone. Our main point guard tore ACL, so we've had to pull up a girl from JV just to keep 7 girls. So it's been really important for us to share the ball and make sure no one gets too tired.
But people don't realize it's very tough to do because what happens is sometimes one player takes over, right, and does that. Even though obviously you're a scorer here, averaging 21.25 points per game, but there are other people on this team that are scoring right there. So to be able to do that in such a short bench is absolutely not an easy thing to do. You got to give Coach some credit on that one.
Mm-hmm. We've set up a lot of good plays, and we always face different defenses, whether it's a box and one, zone. Like whenever we play against those, it's super easy to just work the ball inside.
It is so funny you brought up a box and one. We just had a session that we did, and we talked about the box and one being prevalent. That is so funny you just brought that up. So everyone knows. Maggie right now has become the 6th Eden player to reach 1,000 points, the milestone. Talk about what that means to you and how it is being a part of that club now.
It was super exciting. I had to score 19 points in the game where I got it, and I got it towards the end of the 4th quarter against Sacred Heart. My team really helped me out that game. They tried to just keep feeding me the ball, and the other team was playing man-to-man, so it was pretty easy to just drive and kick to everyone, so that was really awesome. 2 years ago, I was playing with Brooke Woodard and my sister Jessica, and Brooke Woodard hit 1,000, so it was always kind of in the back of my mind, like, that would be really cool if I could do it too. And then the year after, when my sister was a junior, she got it. So then I was like, wow, now I really have to. And this is my last chance, so I'm really happy that I was able to.
That's awesome. And listen, that is such a pride in the family when you know that both of you have done it. Was she there for the points?
She wasn't. I think she had her own game that night at Denison University.
So we'll give her a pass on this one.
Yeah.
Right? So who's the better player?
That's a tough question. We both have different strengths. She's more of a shooter, and I guess I drive more, so it's a little bit different.
And I'm teasing, you know that, right? So listen, Maggie, honestly, all kidding aside that we've talked about here, right? But we've talked about you as a short bench. So talk about that short bench. What's going to be the key to success for you with that short bench to be able to advance inside the playoffs?
Well, we definitely have to stay out of foul trouble because the girls who will come off the bench are obviously super important for us. They definitely hold their own, and they're really good, even though the one girl our first girl off the bench, she's a sophomore. Her name's Tookie. She's been doing super good recently coming off the bench for us whenever, like, one of our bigs gets into foul trouble. So that'll be really important for us to keep her hot with her shooting. And then I think, that's it.
So if I were to tell you the one thing, give me one thing that says this is what we need to do to advance.
I would say keep up the strong ball movement and just talking on defense, playing as a team, because I think defense is our strong point as a team.
There you go. Well, listen, you've heard her right here from Maggie Zittel. She's your 1,000-point scorer from Eden. Great season they're having. Now we're going to kick it over to Joe Daniel.
Thank you, Tom. All right, so I'm with Reese Beaver, a junior from the Southwestern Trojans from Class B1. Reese, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, so you led your team in points with 461, but more importantly, you had 79 assists. Talk about the importance of getting your team involved with those 79 assists.
Well, it's just really important that each girl on our team can have open shots that they can finish, and we've faced a lot of good teams this year, especially in our non-league schedule, and teams play really hard defense, so it's really important that if we can get a player an open shot on the three-point line or an open layup, then it's going to be really crucial for us to go far in playoffs and just win games.
And speaking of those playoffs, thoughts on going to the playoffs for your team and what needs to happen to be successful going forward?
I think we need to really keep up strong ball movement and keep playing consistent games because that's probably one of our weaknesses right now. And then just keep it up on the defensive end. We've played a lot better defense the past few games, so that's going to be really crucial.
What does your coach preach to you and your team daily?
Just to talk on defense, keep the energy up. always have a positive attitude every day in practice and just wanting to get better every second.
Who is your favorite professional athlete? Now, most of the girls have said college. We did get Brianna Stewart, and I think she's with the Liberty now. But who's your favorite athlete?
Well, I guess I'm going to go with the college players,
Okay.
too. I really like the Cavender twins out of University of Miami, and then Haley Van Lith from Louisville.
Is it easier to relate to a college player because you're near the same age more than to a professional athlete, of what your expectations are and where you want to go?
Yeah, I think definitely it'd be easier to relate to a college player, especially because we're closer in age, everything like that.
And speaking of maybe not college players, but your sister's on the team, and she's a freshman. Talk about what she had to go through this year, not only to make the team, but to actually contribute a lot to your team.
Well, it's been a different experience playing with her for sure. She's done a great job. She works really hard every day, and she has been a very consistent and a very hardworking player for our team this year. She's done a great job.
Is it fun playing with your sister?
It's fun. I do tend to get on her more than I would any other player, but she handles it well, and she's okay with it.
Are you girls different types of players on the court?
I would say that we're very similar. I mean, we both, our strong suit is probably both shooting, but she is I would say we're similar players, but we're a little bit different too. She's smaller than I am.
Well, she's only a freshman.
Yeah,
the girl.
that's true.
But Reese, thank you so much for joining us today. Good luck to you and your team in the playoffs. And so that was Reese Beaver from the Southwestern Trojans. We're going to send it over to Francis with Danny Krenzer from Falconer.
All right, I'm with Danny Krenzer from Falconer. Danny, let's start with this. You're in the CCA East 1 division. Only went 6-4, but that's a really tough division. 11-9 overall. Let's start with this. How would you characterize your season? Why has Falconer been so successful this year?
Well, I'm really proud of my team, and I think a lot of people came into the season thinking that we weren't going to go very far, but I think we really stepped it up, and we just came out strong, and we are still coming out strong. I think that provides a lot to our success.
All right, for a moment, I want you to talk about yourself. All right, let's start with this. 17 points a game, you're averaging 6 rebounds. What is the key to your game? Why are you so successful on the court?
Well, I put a lot of effort into ball handling and everything, but my team can say for themselves that hard work is really all that I care about. If I feel like I'm having a bad game, I'll pick it up internally on one end or the other. I just try to work hard in general, and whatever that takes, points, rebounds, steals, that's all that matters to me.
All right, so you had a tough loss in the sectional final last year. You're moving up from C1 to B2. So let's start with that last year's game. What did you learn from losing in that sectional final?
That loss still hurts. It was hard. I think it's a lot of where we have to be more of a team, and when we're down, we need to work more as a team. And we can't have one scorer. We all need to be together, and we're young, but when we're collaborative and we get things going, we work together. I love seeing it.
This B2 is very tough. We had Maggie Zittelin from Eden. We had Reese Beaver from Southwestern. You guys, I know there's a bunch of teams that live in out Western New York, so don't hold me to it. So what is going to be the key in order to have success in this B2 division that you're now moving up to and try to win a sectional title?
I mean, I feel like I'm having a lot of the same answers, but it's true. We just have to work together. When we work together, we're fluent, we're smooth, and I see a lot of potential in my teammates, and I love them for it. And when we work hard, we get places, and I hope I'm an inspiration to them, and we're successful when we all work together.
All right, I think that's a perfect way. That's a perfect way to say it, and I think a perfect sentiment to have going into the postseason. That's Danny Krenzer from Falconer. Coming up next, we are going to talk about that B2 bracket, talk about all these teams in there and what that bracket looks like. You're watching the 2023 Girls Basketball Playoff Preview Show on Western New York Athletics.
Does he do car? Forget about it. How about home? Forget about it. Does he get good rates? Forget about it. And you're saying there's no problem too big for this guy? Forget about it. Paul, this is Johnny, the guy we've been talking about. Johnny, this is Paul Wolf.
Mr. Wolf, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for the invite.
Not a problem. It's Paul, not Mr. Wolf.
Oh, sorry, Paul.
Johnny, forget about it. For all your insurance needs, call 835-WOLF and...
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Ball cap, Tim Linder next to me. I'm Stu Boyer. Francis Beck is here producing. And we're going to take a look at Class B2. We'll get the brackets up there. Eden at the top is the top seed, and then you'll see the other seeds. Akron is 4, Olmsted 2, Southwestern 3. And then there are the other matchups, 8 and 9, Allegheny Limestone against Medina, Health Sciences against Roy Hart, that's a 5 and a 12, Falconer and Fredonia, 7 and 10, Newfane and Salamanca. And Tom, what sticks out to you most about this bracket?
You know, it's the same thing I think that we were really talking about, you know, coming into it. The only difference is we're going to see a lot of the lower seeds play to get to the higher seed, right? Which is really the difference in this bracket that we're talking about right here. You know, a lot of travel right here. Look at Salamanca having to travel to Newfane, right? I mean, that Fredonia you have
Limestone, Medina.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much traveling here that we're talking about from the lower seed to go to the higher seed, right? Allegheny Limestone to Medina, like you said. Even Roy Hart to, you know, Health Sciences, right? Fredonia Falconer is probably the closest one, and even that's not, you know what I mean, extremely close. So you're really talking about some of these lower seeds with a long seed to travel. Obviously, you know, I think you got to look at Eden right now again as the team right now to beat. Francis, you can leave that up there a little bit longer. You know, as the team that we're really talking about as the team to beat right here. I think Southwestern is probably the other team that you're really going to need to watch out for as to what they're capable of doing here. Those, to me, are probably the two teams that we could probably see come out of this bracket right here. But it will be some interesting games to get to that point.
Yeah, again, you know, just like B1, the potential for another rematch in B2 from last season with the two teams you just mentioned, Tom, and Eden and Southwestern. Again, there was some thought of a few weeks ago, based on how the seedings were shaking out, that they might actually end up on the same side of the bracket if a couple games went different ways. But as it turns out, they're again on opposite halves, with Eden as the one. Eden, you know, another flawless ECIC 4 campaign, unbeaten in the league, very few tests. Another team has played a very tough non-league schedule. They have a win over Will North, have a win over Sherman in the tournament down at the holiday tournament. So some quality wins on their resume as well. And, you know, looking at Southwestern, again, only two blemishes on their league schedule were to, C-Power Randolph, including just a few nights ago. But, you know, those, like you said, certainly the top two contenders in my mind, but certainly some other teams lower down in the bracket who could throw a wrench in the mix. And you know, the team that I would say is first and foremost on that list would be Falconer. Again, a team who's played a lot of experienced roster, has played in a lot of tough, close games this season. You know, played in the league with Portville amongst some other top Southern tier teams. So are battle tested. You know, they'll face a tough, Fredonia, another team who has a pedigree, never an easy out. But assuming they would get past that matchup, potentially to face two-seed Olmsted, another matchup of teams who really never play each other, have very few common opponents. So that would be a potential interesting quarterfinal with Falconer possibly traveling up into Buffalo to play Olmsted.
So which one of the three players we have in for your interviews, would anyone want to pick the best player in this bracket? Because you get three terrific players right here between Maggie, Reese, and Danny. Anybody want to pick one, and who's going to most likely to have the biggest impact?
Yeah, it's kind of some different skill sets for sure. Maggie Zittel this year for Eden kind of has to take over the scoring load. Really that she shared with her sister over the past number of seasons, but she's really took that on well. I believe averaging well over 20 points a game.
21, I think I have her at.
Yeah, 21 points a game for Eden, and Reese Beaver, as anybody who follows girls basketball locally will know how much of a tremendous talent she is at the guard position. Running the show for Southwestern. Still, just a underclassman herself still this year, but a load of experience on her shoulders, leading Southwestern, to another good season.
I'm not familiar with Danny, and I usually with the Southern tier teams have to yield to the guru. I call him the center court of girls hoops, but Maggie, difference between Maggie Zittel and Reese Beaver. Maggie just isn't as flashy, but she is solid. Interestingly enough, when you talk about the teams, and we get back to 7s and 2s, assuming the top 8 teams hold serve, what do you think of the 7-2 matchup between Falconer and, Olmsted?
Olmsted.
Yeah, another. As I was getting at, that would be a very interesting matchup of teams who again, rarely face each other, rarely have very few common opponents. So not much to take away other than what we know about the two teams individually. But Olmsted, has their own stalwart in Brooke Bullock, who has had another tremendous season in the Buffalo Public League. Not a pushover by any means. Coming out of the BPS would be a very interesting matchup. Again, another one of a public school, Buffalo Public School against a Southern tier team, which I would circle on the calendar to potentially attend that one in person if the calendar works out. Just to really see how the two teams match up in a matchup that you wouldn't normally get otherwise.
Well, what I notice is it would seem that Falconer, based on the schedule they played, would be a little more playoff ready than Olmsted when you consider the schedule that they played.
Well, would anybody think, well, let's put it this way. Sounds like you're going with Falconer, maybe, or Olmsted, but does anyone not agree that Eden and Southwestern is the most likely matchup, and which team is the most likely team to upset that apple cart?
Yeah, I'd say it's still certainly likely. Wouldn't put it as much of a lock potentially as some other brackets. The most likely team to possibly make a final as a surprise would probably be Falconer, as we've discussed. A battle-hardened team, a lot of tough games, a lot of tough close wins and close losses.
Did they play Southwestern during the year?
Yep, they played them early in the season. Lost 68-54 in the second game of the season.
Yeah, so a game where they've seen them before. Not necessarily a few possession game, but we've seen teams play each other a second or third time and results turn around. This season and past seasons, especially come playoff time. Depending on how teams are trending. So that would be my sleeper pick, for lack of a better term.
I think if it would get down to Eden and Southwestern, that would be a pick'em game.
Yeah, much like again another potential rematch of a good contest from last season, and
it was the season before too.
Yeah, you're right. It would be 3 in a row. I think it would be 3 straight. Right.
So I mean, and you're talking about like you said, I agree with you. It's absolutely a pick 'em on the line right there, but should be another fantastic matchup if we get to that point. The question will be who can upset the apple cart, right? Is what we're going to be looking at.
Exactly.
Well, the first games are on the 21st. They're all let's see, Medina and Allegheny Limestone at 7, and then at Villa Maria, Health Sciences and Roy Hart at 7 at Villa Maria. Falconer and Fredonia, that's at 5 o'clock start, and Newfane and Salamanca is at 7. Then the next round on the 24th, and Akron, Eden, Olmsted, and Southwestern will play then, and then it's on March 1st is the next round, 2 games at Kenmore West, and then Sunday the 5th at Buffalo State, which is where all the teams hope they wind up, and they'll be making their best effort to get there. That's going to do it for Class B2. We're going to take a break and come back with Class C in just a little bit.
There's nothing better than owning the perfect house to come home to. You've earned it, and we'll make it happen. Our local real estate experts and in-house team of financial professionals make buying or selling your home simple. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
Being home.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
Being home.
Life can be full of surprises, but not always the good kind. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Welcome back to the 2023 Girls Basketball Playoff Preview Show here in Western New York Athletics. We're now on to Class C, and I'm with Kyra Pence of Randolph. And you guys have had a great season. Top seed, I think you're the top seed in Class C, 10-0 in CCA West 1. So tell me, what's been the key to your team's success this season?
Well, our season started last season after we lost to Frewsburg in the championship game. We all want it. We all want the revenge. We want to go to states. We've all worked hard in the offseason. We've all worked to get each other better. Our defense is our main point. Defense turns into the offense, and we really just roll. We've been sharing the ball really well. We just want to keep rolling with how we've been playing.
You guys are 16-4 overall. I'm perhaps more impressed by your 4 losses. So here they are, Western New York. 2 losses to Nichols, who arguably is one of the top teams in all of Western New York. You have a 10-point loss to St. Mary's, and then a loss to Panama, who's always a powerhouse in Class D. So how do you think those losses have really helped grow you guys as a team and prepare you for the postseason?
We scheduled those games to get better for the postseason because we know those are the teams that will have to play, well, similar teams like that in postseasons. So we wanted to play great teams to help us prepare for that. So we learned so much from playing the bigger teams to know how we have to prepare our defense and all that, and we really want to wanted to get better from those games, so that's how we use those games to prepare for the postseason.
Okay, I want to talk about you for a second. You're having a great season. I know you committed to SUNY Cobleskill, so let's start with this. What's been the key to your individual success on the court?
I knew my role on the team. We all have different roles on the team. My role on the team is to play great defense. I get everyone hype. I'm the intensity person on the team, and I find everyone pass, and I will score when I need to score. I preach to the team that we all want to win. We all need to work hard, and we all need to get better to be good.
Why SUNY Cobleskill?
I chose that because I felt I was the right fit there. First off, it's a great school. I want to be a vet, and it's a great animal science school. So then I talked to the Coach Bowman there, and she was great. She was phenomenal. She really helped me choose and it was hard to say no to my other schools, but I knew it was the right fit there, and I'd have a chance to play there.
All right. What aspect of your game would you say you're most proud of?
My defense, for sure. I love defense. Defense turned to the offense, and when I get the steals, I can score then because that's how I like to score. I like to play the defense, and I also am intensity. Like I said, I love hyping up my team, getting them ready for the game that we have. And if it seems like we're down, I'm the one to hype everyone up, and I know our defense can turn into that, and that's how I love working well for my team.
Your younger sister, Quinn, is on the team.
Yeah.
What is that experience like?
We're completely different players, I think. Our attitudes are different. We're night and day, everyone says. She's got the fiery attitude. My job is to keep her in line, keep her in check because we need her for the postseason. She definitely is a shooter on the team. We both have different aspects of how we help the team, but I just love playing with my sister. She helps me get better. I help her to get better. That's how we work together.
All right, you alluded to it at the very beginning. Last year, you fell to Frewsburg, a 3-point loss in the sectional final. What did you learn most from that experience, and what is it going to take for you guys to get over that hump and win a sectional title?
That game really gave us drive. We all wanted to win that game, and sadly it didn't come out for us winning. But we know that we need to play better as a team. We need to take control of the last-second situations. We didn't do very good in that Frewsburg game of taking control at the last second and executing all of our plays, so we need to get better at executing our plays to help us in the postseason, and we need to all share the ball and just keep up our great defense and intensity.
All right, that's Kyra Prince from Randolph. I'll send it over to Tom Prince.
I'm excited right now as I am joined by Peyton McInnes of Wilson. Boy, here is something I'm going to tell you folks right now. This is not talked about enough, okay? Listen to this. Wilson has won 63 straight Niagara Orleans games spanning over 5 years. Wow, right? That's first thing. Wow, right? But first I want you to talk about what it's like being part of that. And then I'm going to the second question to it is, what was the key to that happening?
Well, it's an honor being a part of it. Obviously, Coach Baker is the biggest part of that. He gets us going in the off season. We get in the mornings, all the time. We go. We're actually this year planning on going to Notre Dame. So yeah. So it starts with the off season work, and during the season we do lots of film and preparing for the teams, obviously, and we're always ready for whatever defense they're coming at us with.
And that's great. I mean, really, it is something that I don't think we've talked about enough here in Western New York, because that's a big wow factor. That is just an unbelievable streak that will now go into next season is what will happen is. Now, let's talk about Class C right here, right? Class C's loaded, right? We know it's deep and tough. Talk about what you guys have done as a team to prepare for this playoff run.
Yeah, like I said before, we do lots of film. We need to be prepared for anything that comes at us, and eventually, we might have to travel, those 2.5-hour bus rides, and we just have to be prepared for that mentally, obviously, yeah.
How do you, it's funny, we just talked about that in the session right there, right? Because the bracket that's above you, right, what we talked about is you could see is all the lower teams were going an hour, 2 hours to whoever it was above there. How do you get mentally for a ride like that? Because it's a lot. It really is.
Yeah, well, obviously it's not under our control, so we just have to be able to overcome that mentally.
So what's your ritual? What are you doing? 2.5 hours on a bus ride? Come on. What's your ritual on that bus ride?
I mean, I try not to go too much on my phone, I can't get headaches or anything. I kind of get bus sick sometimes, but, we all we try to have fun, keep the energy up still on the bus, so then when we get off, we're not, all like tired and stuff.
So is there a song that's got to be played?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have no.
You're good. So listen, we've talked. You alluded this real quick, right? To us, you have one of the most respected coaches here in Western New York, right? You really do. Coach Baker's been something not only for Wilson but for all of girls basketball, right? Talk about what it's like playing with him.
It's really an honor because obviously growing up we watched him like keep this streak and everything, and once you start playing with him, you really see how much extra work he puts in and how much he really cares for Wilson basketball, but also girls basketball in general. And
Yeah, I agree, and that's something that really is, again, probably doesn't get talked about enough out there when we look at things. So now you've got a stretch run to make, right? There has to be points that you guys have made at a team that says, if we're going to win, this is what's going to happen. Talk about what you need to happen for Wilson to go ahead and win and make a run.
Well, our defense is really what keeps us in our games. Our defensive intensity really needs to stay up. Rebounding has been a little bit of a struggle for us, so we just have to make sure we find bodies, box out. And we've kind of had a share of scoring on offense, so we just have to make sure we're making our shots.
There you go. So a big team right here, a big winning streak right here, a lot that's going on in Wilson. We'll see how it plays out in the playoffs, though. Good luck the rest of the way. Let's kick it over to Joe Daniel.
All right, Tom, thank you so much. So, continuing here in the Class C, I have Emily Anderson from the Cassadaga Valley Cougars. Emily, thank you for joining us here today. All right, so just a couple questions for you. Thoughts on your team going into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think we're going to do a very good job. We just have to keep the pressure on ball because our team does a very good job at that.
Is your coach preach the pressure for defense, getting the steals, getting the lanes, getting some easy points, right, going their way? So you led the team in points. Talk about the offseason work to get there. As you were a freshman, now you were a sophomore. So leading your team in points as a sophomore, it's pretty impressive, don't you think?
Yeah. I definitely work hard on the offseason, just trying to improve overall.
What is something that you worked on in the offseason to improve your game?
Just seeing the court more.
Seeing the court?
Find open players.
Because the game kind of slows down a little bit, right? Like in anything, right? Even hockey and football, the game slows down the more we play, the more experience, and you saw that this year.
Yep.
And what is it like playing home games with the students behind you? This is a question I've not asked anybody. How is your gym on a home game? Is it pretty exciting?
Yes, it definitely gets us more pumped up. We play a lot better, I think, with the support.
When you have the support?
Yeah.
And what does your coach preach on a day-by-day basis for the games?
He's huge on pressuring the ball, just trapping like our press. I think our team does an excellent job of doing that and just getting 1% better. Now,
being in Class C, do you guys have long bus rides or at all, or is it pretty close rides? Any fun music played on the team buses?
Yeah, we definitely have some good music and just get pumped up for the game.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool being a part of the team and working for that common goal. So do you have an athlete, maybe professionally or college, that you look up to kind of replicate your game?
I don't have one specific one, but I definitely watch like different couple teams of college.
Who's your favorite college team?
I don't really have one, but I watch a lot of UConn or Stanford.
UConn and Stanford, those are two great powerhouse. Now, when you get to college, I know you're still a few years away. Is there a sport you want to play in college?
Basketball, definitely.
You want to play basketball? We'll keep working hard. I appreciate your time. All right, so Emily Anderson from the Cassadaga Valley Cougars in Class C. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, the guys will talk about the Class C bracket and have an open discussion with that. You're watching the 2023 Girls High School Basketball Playoff Show on WNOY Athletics.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered... Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Welcome back to our girls basketball playoff preview show. That's Tom Prince. Followed next to Roger Weiss, and next to me is Tim Lindner. And Tim, we're going to start the Class C preview off with you. Looks like Randolph is a clear-cut, big-time favorite in this one, but you just said good bracket. So expound on that if you would.
Yeah, I mean, very strong bracket, deep bracket, but Randolph, in the eyes of all or at least most, definitely the favorite. 16-4 overall record, but 3 of those 4 losses, 2 coming to Nichols and 1 to St. Mary's of Lancaster. So a tremendous resume with numerous other quality wins on the slate. So they've definitely, and especially in the last 2-3 weeks, definitely been playing their best basketball of the season. Really rolling along, getting contributions up and down their lineup. Now back to lineup is fully healthy as well. So definitely a very strong team, one of the top small schools in the area, and certainly a favorite in this bracket. But again, the depth of this bracket, especially on the bottom half, is something that can't go unnoticed. You look at 3-seed Wilson, once again undefeated in the Niagara Orleans League, could possibly face Frewsburg, 6-seed, the defending Class C sectional champions from a year ago, and nearly pulled off a regional upset against East Rochester, 3-point loss there. They've had an up and down season. A couple of surprise losses, but also a couple of not surprise, but good wins. They have a win over Eden. They have a recent, just a 6 or 7 point loss in the last week or two against Randolph. So certainly can compete with the best teams in this bracket. So assuming they get by Gowanda, would make the long trek up to Wilson to play that on. Would be on the 23rd, the quarterfinals in this bracket. You look at Cassadaga Valley versus Chautauqua Lake, a 7-10. Normally you wouldn't think of a 7-10 as a high-quality matchup, but those are 2 very solid teams. Cassadaga Valley has had their best season in many a year, certainly best season since I've ever been covering local girls hoops. And Chautauqua Lake just hung with Panama, the top seed in Class D, for 3+ quarters just a week or so ago. So those 2 teams, the winner of that game would get MST Seneca, unbeaten in their league in the Division II Buffalo Public School League. Kind of a unknown of how they're going to match up against some of these Southern Tier schools. So another interesting matchup there, no matter who wins the 7-10. And then the 4-5, which is already set, is Holland at Portville. Another very intriguing matchup. Portville has had some tremendous seasons of recent note. They're all out of Welties this season, but have a very strong pedigree nonetheless. A lot of their same players that played on the state championship volleyball team also play basketball.
Tim, that's my dark horse right there. Yeah. I don't think they've been talked about enough this season, even when you look at the rankings, right? It was a fight I watched for people to even put them into the rankings. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how do you guys not see this? This team is absolutely for real, and Portville's been, probably the one team that I'm out there. And I want to bring up again your Wilson comment. 63 straight games won in Niagara Orleans.
Yeah, and that was preceded by almost 60 game win streak before that. That was only separated by one season in which Newfane had a standout season and defeated Wilson a couple times. But beyond that, they're basically 120 some wins and 2 losses in the league over the last nearly a decade, really.
And Frewsburg, the team that got, you remember, to the championship last year and won against Randolph, is sitting there with players on that team, sitting in that 6th seed. I know, Tim, it's funny, that was a team that was on the flip of the rankings. Even when we talked about, even when they were struggling with a losing record, they were still right there in the thick of things, that people knew this team is still for real.
They were quite a while even ranked at the state level in the top 20 of the state for quite a while, with a 500 or even a sub 500 record. Largely due, yes, they had the pedigree from last year. They had a lot of players returning, still do. They're still a very young team, but do have the experience of playing at the highest level in the sectionals. And again, had an up and down season, hit by a couple injuries here and there, but they're back to largely full strength. And that potential Wilson-Frewsburg matchup would be, possibly the best of the bunch in the early goings of Class C.
But at Frewsburg, you get that young team that comes back. We talked about it, right? They become fearless. They understand, wow, we can win. We can get back to this. And all of a sudden, get on that run. It's a team from one of the lower seeds that can easily go on that run and do something.
Yeah, for sure.
Roger, you got something to add for this one?
Yeah, Portville. I could tell you Portville in 2 words. Inga Walty. Bad news is she's running out of daughters.
Yeah, I mean, a tremendous coach. Again, big pedigree over the last number of years, and just a great program recently, and they put together another great season this year so far.
Again, I always talk about teams holding seeds, but Cass Valley 7 versus the number 2 seed, MST. That's very winnable for Cass Valley. Portville and Holland, I'm sure Holland and, the Schmidt family wasn't crazy having to end up play Portville. And is Frewsburg-Wilson going to be a classic matchup or what?
No doubt. That's what we talked about. Like I said, no doubt Coach Baker's going to have his team ready. No doubt Frewsburg's got the experience, been there, done that, experienced, knows how to do it. I mean, you're talking about 2 teams getting ready to go there. What I loved was talking to Peyton McInnes just a little bit ago. What did she say? They've been preparing for this run not in the last couple weeks. Right. They started over the summer. They were doing film work over the summer. They were doing things to prepare to be able to get ready for this moment, and they've been doing it for months.
Right. And you say, you look at a program like Wilson, and you might say, okay, the NOL, it doesn't compare in the strength of schedule per se to some of the leagues down the southern tier. Looking at the depth of the league and the strength of the league, but Wilson's another team. Look at their non-league schedule. They go on the road. They play tough teams. They play NFL teams. They play larger teams to get ready and prepare for the just this time. It's playoff time. And a Brian Baker coach team is always going to have his team prepared, just as well as anybody.
All right, and
great bracket.
Yeah, one of the best. Really.
Okay, and the games are on the 21st. Starts with Global Concepts and JFK, Cassadaga Valley, Chautauqua Lake, Frewsburg, and Gowanda, all on the 21st, and that's going to wrap it up for Class C. We'll come back with Class D after this short break.
There's nothing better than owning the perfect house to come home to. You've earned it, and we'll make it happen. Our local real estate experts and in-house team of financial professionals make buying or selling your home simple. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
I love being home.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
Being home.
Life can be full of surprises, but not always the good kind. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Welcome back, girls basketball fans, and especially fans of the playoffs that are coming up. I've got with me my next guest, Mandy Brink of Panama. She is a part of one of the top teams, not only in the D class, but in all of Western New York, right? They absolutely have made a presence. Mandy, first of all, we talk a lot about Clymer, Sherman, Panama as one in different sports, right? But in basketball, it's got to separate out a little bit, right? So talk about is you guys as a group of schools have to come together in some sports and then separate and be competitors in other sports. Talk about what it's like having that as a rivalry in the sport of basketball.
I feel like Clymer, Sherman, and Panama, we have been the most competitive 3 schools, especially against each other. And it's helped us gain respect for each other when we aren't playing with each other, and especially when we are playing with each other. Especially at football games, we sit in the same student section, we're cheering together, and it's honestly been a really fun experience.
Is it tough to then go to rivalry?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It is because we know how we play, we know how we roll. It's been difficult for sure, but overall, I think it's more fun than difficult. Yeah.
Do you circle those games on the calendar?
I
don't mean it's a bad thing, you know what I mean? Because you get excited to play it, not because it's bad. It's you get excited to play those games.
Oh, absolutely. Like we look forward to them as a team for sure.
That's all. I mean, listen, there's a reason. Those are 3 phenomenal schools down there. But we really wanted to just break it out for a second because so many people hear CSP or, hear and don't realize in other sports it's not. They're their own school out there, and it is something to get over because, like you said, your buddies in one sport, and then all of a sudden you're a rivalry in the next sport. But this season, D's loaded, right? It really is. It could be one of the best brackets you talk about in Western New York. Talk about what Panama has done to prepare for this playoff run.
We have really stressed defense in practices for sure. We think that defense wins championships. We're honestly really excited. We feel like we have a good shot this year. We're just going to keep on playing together. We've meshed well throughout the season. We've really shown our strengths, and we're very excited to keep going.
Well, you should be excited yourself. You've got 23.5 points per game is what you have averaged. You've now committed to SUNY Brockport along the way, right? Talk about what made you commit to SUNY Brockport. What is it about them that you decided that's where I'm going to spend the next 4 years?
Well, first of all, it's always been my dream to play college basketball, and the fact that it's coming true is unreal. But Brockport, I went to a elite camp there, and I've really noticed that that their team is a team, and it reminded me a lot of how Panama was. And their coach, have a good connection with their coach, and I'm going for physical education as well, and they have a good program there. So,
It's funny, you've heard Western New York. When we asked that question, there's been one response that I keep hearing through all those. Boy, the coach, my relationship with that coach, it really has come standing true. And people don't realize going there and having those interviews, how important they are inside this recruiting process. But now I want to talk about Panama as a whole. Panama's a perennial powerhouse. Come on, when it comes to basketball, let's be honest, it really is. Right? Year after year, Panama's in there. Talk about what it's like being a part of that program and what that program at Panama means to you.
The past 4 years have been absolutely amazing. We've changed coaches, which honestly was different at first, but we have adapted to that. And playing with both Natalie Angeletti and Kylie Schnars, they were absolutely incredible players, and the fact that I get to say that I come from a school like Panama is it's absolutely amazing.
Now, all eyes are on the playoffs. If you don't think you've got a bullseye on your back, or you don't think these teams are gunning for you, right? You're crazy, right? You know it, right? You know
absolutely.
Their circle the game on Panama is what they did. What do you have to do to be able to win in the playoffs? What are the things that says 1, 2, and 3 need to happen? What are they?
I think that not only meshing well together on the court, but also meshing together outside of basketball, having that connection with each other. I feel like our team has finally acknowledged the roles on the team, and I think that's really important to keep that up throughout playoffs, and I'm excited to see where it takes us.
That's awesome. Well, listen, we heard her from Mandy Brink. She has been phenomenal this season, 23.5 points per game. Panama leading the way. They will be big inside these playoffs. Let's see how it plays out. Now, let's go off to Joe Daniel.
All right, thanks, Tom. So, to continue the Class D coverage here, I have Tanley Bestine from the Westfield Wolverines. All right, so I learned where Westfield was. It's by Chautauqua Lake, an hour and a half away. How was your ride up here? Was it pretty good?
Yeah, it was good, long, but not bad.
And you guys going to get some pizza afterwards?
Definitely.
Nothing better than Buffalo pizza. All right, but let's focus on what you're really here for here. Thoughts on going into the playoffs with your team?
I feel like we have a really good chance. Our girls have really fit into roles this year, and we've been just being great. So, and we have some stuff to work on, but I really think that we can go far.
What do you guys have to work on?
I would say our defense a little bit, talking more, and definitely boxing out. He always preaches at our coach, but we're getting better.
And follow your shot.
Definitely, yes.
I've coached basketball 11, 12-year-olds, and hopefully by the time you guys the girls get a little older, it changes, right? All right, so you led the team in points. All right, talk about the offseason work to get there as you're a junior now.
Yeah, so I do AAU, and that competition is crazy compared to high school, and I feel like that really helps me. And then I also go to a trainer in the summer and work on ball handling and all that stuff.
And the experience from the AAU and, getting people to see your game too, right?
Yes, definitely.
They always talk about even the NHL players. Everyone's still getting better every year, and same for you girls as well. So what's it like playing home games with the students behind you in the crowd? Does it pump you up?
Yes, definitely. The energy is awesome, and I think it really pumps us up, and it creates – we score a lot better, and I think we're all just confident because every time we score, the crowd goes crazy.
And I feel like even the smaller school towns, they get even better support, right?
Yes.
For not even the girls, the boys in football. Is that true?
That's true, yeah.
And then what does your coach preach on a day-by-day basis for your team?
Definitely rebounding. We can't let the other team have another shot to score. And I would say moving the ball, getting the girls open shots.
Who is your biggest rival? This is a question I've not asked anybody, and I told you about this during the last interview. So, who's your biggest rival down there?
I would say Chautauqua Lake. Our boys play football together, so we cheer for them. And then also just being right next to each other, we hang out with a lot of those girls, and it's just always a fun game, and it's usually competitive too.
Favorite professional or college athlete? Just to tell you, most of the girls have said college athletes.
I would have to say Michael Jordan. He's
All
a
right.
really good role model and great leader, and I really look up to that.
Michael Jordan's a good answer. Can never go wrong with the great one. All right, and you're excited for the playoffs? Ready to go? All right. So Tanley Bestine from the Westfield Wolverines in Class D, thank you so much. Good luck in the playoffs. We're going to send it over to Francis, who's with Alexis Neckers from Clymer.
All right, I'm with Alexis Neckers from Clymer. This Clymer team, 8-4 in a tough CCAA West 2 division, 14-5 overall. You guys, this has been a bit of a turnaround for you guys. So tell me, what's been the key to your success this year?
Well, it's definitely us playing together as a team and working together.
All right, your individual stats. Okay, let's start with this. 17 points per game, 6 rebound streams. That's good for a basketball player in Western New York. So what's been the key for you out there on the court this year?
Well, playing good with your team, working on the off season, and trying to improve, I guess.
What have you been doing? Anything specific you guys have been doing in the off season, or you've been doing in the off season?
Well, I played AAU, so that definitely helps.
Where do you play?
Chautauqua Fusion.
Okay. All right. And then, as I mentioned, let me ask this. What aspect of the game are you most proud of your game?
Well, probably offensively and maybe a little defensively.
Okay. And finally, what do you guys need to do in order to be successful here in the Class D playoffs?
Well, we need to work together. We have to create open shots for each other, play hard defense, and rebound.
All right. That's Alexis Neckers from Clymer. You know what? I'm losing it today. It's been a long day. I blame Frank. He went to Florida. He got away from us this one of the busiest weeks of the year. I know you don't know Frank, but he deserved it. All right. That will do it for Class D. We're going to coming up, we're going to go back with Stu and the gang, and we're going to talk about this Class D bracket. Alexis, thank you for coming in. You're watching the 2023 Girls Basketball Preview Show on Western New York Athletics.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Portion of the show, and we see Panama sitting atop the class. And anybody want to tell me the team that has the best chance to knock off Panama? We'll go down there with Tom because you're the man, and I'm going to put you on the spot because that's what I do.
All right, so I talked about this a little bit with Mandy. I did an interview with Mandy Brink just before this at Panama, and there's something to this whole Clymer, Sherman, Panama rivalry that's out there, right? So remember, those are all rivalry games, and if you don't think that a rivalry game is something that can happen out of that, you're crazy, right? But I'll tell you, the team that probably, again, hasn't been talked about at all in Western New York is Ellicottville. I mean, nobody's talking about them, and they're out there, and they've done it slowly, just, pulled this incredible record out right there. So you're talking about this isn't going to be an easy stretch by any stretch of the means, right? But Ellicottville, 10-0 inside their division. They're 15-5 overall to 16-4 in Panama. We talk about Sherman. We talked about Clymer. Westfield's another one. That's a team you better watch out for in this mix.
Very strong.
So you literally can go. I looked at this. When you look at a bracket, right, and Tim and Stu and Raj, you could say this bracket, top to bottom, could be the best bracket in Western New York, right? Them and the C bracket that we just talked about are two of the strongest brackets in Western New York, top to bottom.
It's really remarkable with, you just compare Section 6 and the amount of small schools to, say, Section 5, and, there's 3 or 4 times the amount of actual schools participating, but the quality of teams in Section 6 and Class C and Class D is as deep as any section out there with that many fewer teams. And just talking about this D bracket, specifically the bottom half is just absolutely loaded. You spoke about Ellicottville, and they really don't get the amount of pub as maybe the Panama Sherman Climbers do, playing in the same league. Ellicottville is playing in a different league. They ran through it again, 10-0 this season. Also, just last night, just defeated Clymer, so a quality non-league win there to close out the regular season. And they could very well get Westfield, who again played in the same league as Panama Sherman and Clymer, gave all three of them teams very stiff tests throughout the regular season, and that 2-7 matchup could be a potential for a very good one. And then you have again Sherman versus Clymer, a rematch of the quarterfinal, a close quarterfinal matchup last year, and then Sherman eked that one out and went all the way to the state final. So that's just the quality of the teams in Class D, not just locally but at the state level is very deep.
Why do you think no one's talking about Ellicottville?
Well, it's more down to, again, comparing. They're in not as strong of a league. You have Panama, Sherman, Clymer, and Westfield, probably the five top teams in Class D, along with Ellicottville. So they don't play in as tough a league. This year, you have a team like Frankenville, who was a powerhouse, in the recent past, but is not quite as strong. Along with teams like Pine Valley, North Collins, not quite as historically strong as the Panama Sherman Clymer League. But they also haven't played a non-league schedule that involves teams from out of their specific region. Tend to stay a lot in the southern tier. So they just not that they're not specifically talked about, but just a little unnoticed compared to maybe a Panama, who plays a wider non-league schedule. Sherman has played Eden and Lockport this season, so just getting to see them against a wider variety of opponents, goes a long way, and just being able to compare results and things like that.
Go ahead, Raj.
5-5 non-league schedule for Ellicottville. To me, the most interesting thing about this classification, you talk about friendly rivalries. Sherman versus Clymer gotta be a friendly rivalry. I mean, they're same team when it comes to football season, so I know there's camaraderie there. As far as the actual basketball results, I like the winner of Sherman Clymer, possibly, assuming Ellicottville holds seed. I like Sherman Clymer winner against Ellicottville, and then you got them with their football teammates going against Panama in the section final.
Yeah, just a word on Panama. On the top of the bracket, the heavy favorites to get to the final, and certainly I'd put them as the favorite based on results. Head to head against Sherman, Clymer, Westfield. They swept all three of those teams, and leading to a perfect league record, and also hold a win over Randolph as well. They split the season series with Randolph, and
that's huge.
Yeah, just led by Mandy Brink, as we've talked to here, and for my money, the best guard in the state in Class D. There's some tremendous post players among some of the other top-ranked teams in the state, out in Hammond and Cherry Valley, Springfield. But, in terms of her ability to run the show, get her teammates involved, and get to the rim as a guard in Class D, she's just one of the very best in the state, in my opinion. And, we saw with Sherman last year, a team who throughout most of the regular season last year wasn't, on a lot of people's radars, or wasn't talked about a ton within Western New York, made it all the way to the state final. And, Panama, in my opinion, has a good shot to get that far, if not further this season.
You bring up a good point. Let's say Panama does their thing, goes all the way, wins the state. Where does she end up as far as when they're selecting all Western New York?
That's
Will
a good
she
point.
get her just due?
Yeah, it's last year with the breakdown, I believe some publications were breaking it down, large school versus small school. So it
The
depends.
News did that last year.
Depends how you do that. But regardless of class, there's some players in the smallest class, Class C, Class D, who are just right up there talent-wise with a lot of players in the larger classes.
I haven't had an opportunity to see her play, but I hear nothing but good things about her.
Tom, you get the last word on the bracket.
I agree. I mean, there's a lot of talent that's inside this bracket. There's a reason Mandy's already committed to play at the next level. She's going to be off to SUNY Brockport is where she's going to play at the next level. And I really believe that this could really make Panama very battle-tested if they're the team that comes out of this bracket to go into the state tournament. Because there is so much talent that's in here, you may say this may be the most battle-tested team that could go on to the run is into the state playoffs, whoever comes out of this bracket.
All right, well, that'll do it for Class D. You want a final thought? I just gave Tom the last thought, but
No,
make an exception.
I think Tom summed it up pretty well.
Okay.
I'm good.
It's another bracket where there's 3 or 4 teams in the same league who've all seen each other, at least twice during the season. We'll get at least a couple, third matchups between the teams, and should be plenty of fun matchups down at JCC.
All right, well, that'll do it for Class D. We'll be back and talk some Monsignor Martin girls basketball after this break.
There's nothing better than owning the perfect house to come home to. You've earned it, and we'll make it happen. Our local real estate experts and in-house team of financial professionals make buying or selling your home simple. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
I love being home.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
Being home.
Life can be full of surprises, but not always the good kind. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Welcome back, Western New York, to our girls' playoff preview. We're now at the Monsignor Martin division, and I'll tell you, this division is just unbelievable, right? When you look top to bottom, we're going to talk about 4 teams here that are ranked here in Western New York to boot when you talk about large schools. Cardinal O'Hara, Nichols, St. Mary's, Sacred Heart, all ranked out there. Not an easy game any day that you're playing inside the Monsignor Martin division. Joined by me is Kyla Hayes, right now at Cardinal O'Hara. Kyla, first thing I want to talk about, your schedule this year has been unbelievable, right? Think about what you've done outside a conference. You went away, played how many powerhouses? Then you took on anybody in Western New York that was a top team. You took them on. You have to talk about how this schedule is helping you in the final run here, in the final stretch of the playoffs.
I think Coach Nick knows that everybody in the league is coming for us, so he schedules games that are going to be hard for us that he knows we might end up losing, but he still wants us to play in them anyway. So we go out there. Erie has a good team. We go down to Florida. We go to all these places just to get better, just to see the level of competition, to put us in these places so that when we get into a game situation like this in our league, that we can end up winning those games.
And truth be told, I love when I see coaches do this. And I don't care what the sport is. We see this because it works, right? The better competition to play, the better you actually are. People don't realize, right? If you don't realize for girls basketball, Cardinal O'Hara, the aura that is around this team, what has been created by this team. I mean, you're going there because your goal is to play at the next level. It is unbelievable Cardinal O'Hara has sent to the next level when you talk about girls playing basketball at the next level. Talk about what it's like that being a part of a program like that.
It's really special being a part of it. I think that it's really special to me and important to me that me and my team keep this legacy going, that we can continue it not only for us but for the girls that built this path for us before us. So we just have to keep working hard and hopefully we can keep it going.
So talk about the schedule, right? You've had unbelievable this schedule, really, as we talked about it, right? What are some of the most memorable games to you that really stand out inside your head, and why?
I think that some of the most memorable games is the second time that we played in Erie. Our team really, really worked hard. We did end up losing, but I think it really shows that we have put a lot of work and effort in to work hard and play hard, and we kept it to a closer game than we did the last time. I think another special game would probably be the Nichols game. I know that the second one, obviously, but I know that we did end up losing that one, and we definitely want to come back and win the next one, but I think it just shows that we can play as a team.
Kyla, what's your strength on the floor? What do you want to know about everyone to know about your game?
That I'm not going to take it easy on you. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to play my hardest. If I'm hurt, if I'm tired, I'm going to go out there and work 100%.
So you've now had this tough schedule. You've now played the season out. Now becomes the stretch run. What does Cardinal O'Hara have to do to make their run in the playoffs?
We have to win. We have to want it. We have to work hard. We have to just fight for it.
Is there something that has to happen on the floor to make that happen? What has to happen positive on the floor?
We have to play as a team. That's really the key thing that we've been working on, building our chemistry up for this time.
So there you have it. We've now had Kyla Hayes right here from Cardinal O'Hara. Fantastic season. No doubt the future is bright for this one. We've seen that. Now what we're going to do is to turn it over to Francis Beck.
All right, I am here with Brianna Barr of Nichols. And Brianna, I want to start with this. We just talked with Kyla from O'Hara. This O'Hara team has won 9 straight Monsignor Martin titles. Right now, you guys, though, are the top seed, and you've beaten them twice this year. How does that feel?
It was really special for us. I think everyone, everybody knows the aura surrounding O'Hara, how they're a winning team and their legacy. And to be considered as one of the top teams in the league is really, really special. All
right. Coach Rizzo came in, first year under her belt, and it just really seemed like she's taking you guys to the next level. What's been, I think, if you could pick one thing that she's kind of, really, changed about the way Nichols is, what would you say it is?
She really emphasizes teamwork, and it's made our chemistry incredible. I think last year we weren't really quite sure how to play with each other yet. We had a lot of good pieces, but we couldn't really put them together. I think this year she's really emphasized teamwork and having good chemistry on the court.
It's great to win, but often, especially in the regular season, you learn a lot from your losses, and you have 2 losses to Lancaster, a very good team. What did you learn from those 2 games?
We learned that, when it comes to defense, we have to know how to play teams with multiple good players, because a lot of times you play teams with maybe one or two good players on their team, but Lancaster, their entire starting lineup is filled with girls who, have offers or honestly are just great basketball players in general. So we had to kind of adapt to that.
All right, I want to turn things over to talk about you yourself for a second. What's the key to your individual success on the court?
Rebounding. Most of my points, if you look at my games, are off of offensive and defensive rebounds. Defensive rebounds, just like getting it up the court and creating opportunities for my teammates and myself. But then offensively, just getting any trash that's coming to me. I like to call myself the trash collector sometimes. But getting rebounds, putting them back up, and just getting those points.
Do you mean trash collector, but you just mean by rebounds, or what do you mean by that term, trash collector?
Trash collector in the sense of, like, if my teammate misses a shot, I'm just like, I'm there to get the missed opportunity and finish for them.
All right, and finally, the big question. You're the top seed. What is it going to take for the Nichols Vikings to win a Monsignor Martin title this year?
I think we have to continue doing what we're doing. I think we have to go in with a chip on our shoulder and not be cocky, because we have been doing well. But I think that we need to go in there with the same mentality we started the season with, which is that everybody's underestimating us and that they don't know our full potential.
All right, thank you, Brianna. All right, we'll turn it over to Joe Daniel for our next interview.
All right, thank you, Francis. So I'm with Emily McDonald here from the Monsignor Martin for the St. Mary's Lancers. Emily, you are a freshman, all right, and you're a freshman playing varsity, and you've had a great year, 14.5 points per game. And how did you make that happen?
I really couldn't do it without all of my teammates. They're always there for me. They always pass me the ball, and I just really couldn't do it without all my teammates, because I got scorers, we got rebounders, we got defenders, we got basically a really stacked team.
Really stacked team. And now you guys have won the last 2 games, okay? You have one more game before the playoffs start. What do you have to do to make it 3 straight to get some momentum here? You're middle of the pack to the Monsignor Martin. Another win would go a long way. Playoff seeding and just some extra not motivation, but just confidence going to the playoffs, correct? So one more win, how do you get the 3?
We're playing Narden our next game, and I really just think we need to play St. Mary's basketball, which is everyone is all in, everyone contributes, everyone plays defense, everyone rebounds. And when that happens, we are play much better basketball.
Is that what your coach preaches?
Yes.
And when you guys get away from that, is that when trouble starts?
Yeah, most of the time.
All right. Favorite athlete you look up to in college or WNBA, NFL? We got a Michael Jordan last one. Most of them been in college. Someone you look up to in any sport?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Shay from St. Mary's. She goes to Penn State now.
Okay.
We saw a couple games, and she just really impresses me. She can run the point guard spot. She can shoot. She can drive. She can basically do anything, and yeah, it really inspires me to be like her.
And making varsity as a freshman, what was the work that you had to do coming in to be a freshman and make the team?
Beforehand, we had a couple workouts, and I kind of had to be a leader on my team and kind of be that person that everyone looks up to. And then I also trained in the off season with Last One Best One. And yeah, it's kind of made me the player I am today, and I'm really grateful for it.
What is something your coach preaches to your team?
Yeah, like I said, being all in and everyone contributing, and when everyone's all in, we're all locked in, and we have better results.
One thing I've noticed, and I really haven't asked any of these girls today, the bench, the support that gives the starters. How great is that? It's really a team effort, whether someone's playing the full game or just a few minutes. It's really a team effort. Yeah. And how great is it to see that everyone supports each other?
Yeah, we're really deep. We've got from seniors who rebound. We got juniors who can shoot or handle the ball. We've got sophomore who are really strong shooters and defensive players, and we even got freshmen who can support the team.
So final question. If I were to ask you, and you would say St. Mary's wins the Monsignor Martin Championship, if what?
Like I said, again, if we play all together and we really believe in the team and not just people individually, I think that that'll give us the best chance.
Well, I got to tell you, Emily, as a freshman, you're wise beyond your years. nice job. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for
Good
having
luck
me.
in your playoffs. You're welcome. Good luck on Monday night and into the playoffs. All right, so Emily McDonald from St. Mary's Lancers. We're going to send over to Tom with Mariah Huss from Sacred Heart.
And you got it. Here's Mariah Huss from Sacred Heart. She's a 4-year starter in the Sacred Heart program. And I'll tell you, I've interviewed you for a couple of years now, right? And I always call you the floor general. You really are the true point guard that really doesn't exist anymore. And I say that with all due respect, because a lot of the point guards now are scorers, right?
Yeah.
And not that you can't score, because I've seen you put points up on the board too, but you always think distributor first. Talk about that in your mentality out there as a point guard on the court.
And my teammates, they're mostly scorers. They can rebound. They can do everything. Ever since I've started playing, I've always been a pretty good passer more than a scorer. So it's definitely been like eye-opening to know that I'm more of a passer. And I know my teammates, they can catch the ball anywhere. I know they're always open. So it's definitely helpful to have them on the court with me and know that they'll catch the ball and they'll put the basket in the. They'll put the ball in the basket.
You got a big scorer on your team right now. Why don't you talk about her and how she's been as pivotal to the team too?
Everyone's been stepping up this season, honestly. There's not just one scorer. We can all score. They're all significant when we're playing. We have Grace and Brooke and Abby and Meg. They can all score from anywhere, and it's amazing to have them on the court with me.
So, Mariah, you've now experienced 2 coaches at Sacred Heart, correct? Right? And 2, great coaches in their minds. Talk about what it's been like for playing both coaches, because they've been so good and so pivotal to your success.
It's definitely amazing to have the opportunity to play for both of them. They're very different coaches. Carrie, she was very disciplined. She wanted the best for us. She was very hard on us, and I think it definitely helped us to play super, super hard. And it's definitely nice to have Maria for my last year. It's just a complete, everything's a positive environment, and it's super nice to have her there knowing she'll support anyone wherever you are.
And she really does. I saw that just in the game when I went out and there. You could just see, the camaraderie with that team that was out there, no doubt about it. So you now go into a very, very tough, Monsignor Martin play, division right here. So what do you think has got you prepared to actually make a run inside this playoffs?
Yeah, at practice, we're always working hard constantly, and we've played all these teams before, so we know exactly what we have to do. We have to play defense super, super hard. We're going up against some great girls. We have to move the ball on offense. We have to play like a team, and we know exactly what we have to do. So. Okay.
When I got the chance to interview you last, you just gotten the steals mark, right? 300 steals is what it was. So I got a fun question for you. You have been so strong when it comes to assists. You've been so strong when it comes to steals. And obviously you can score. What do you like doing the best?
I think assists. It's great. I'll make a pretty great pass, and I'll look over and my bench is going crazy, and it's just exciting to know that they're supporting me on a great pass, and I know my teammates, they appreciate the passes, and it's just amazing.
So right now, let's talk about you as a distributor, right? I really believe that when you go early in a game and are score and have that scoring mentality to go to the hole right away, right? Does that help open up the passing because you become that scoring threat, and I've got to worry about you going to the basket versus kicking it out?
Yeah, definitely. Most teams, they know I'm a passing first point guard, so they kind of back off a little bit, and they don't really expect me to, take the open shots. I think this year I've definitely changed a lot as a point guard. I've been scoring a lot more than I usually have, so now I'm kind of like a passing shooter. So it's definitely eye-opening to some other teams to know that I can do both now. So it's definitely, I think it's a little hard for them to know which one I'm going to do at what time. So I think it definitely confuses them a little bit when they're playing defense on the court.
Okay. Coach is now here, right? He's got her whole team right here inside the office. And she says, we have to do what in order to win this season in the playoffs?
We just have to play super hard, and we have to play as a team. Like I said, we've played these teams before. We've watched a ton of film on them. We've practiced, how they play during practice, and, we just have to play hard and as a team, and hopefully it'll all come together.
Fantastic. Well, there you go. You've heard from Mariah Huss here at Sacred Heart. We're going to take a break because we've got our last panel to talk about the Monsignor Martin playoffs.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses, and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Being home.
Yes, indeed.
You nailed it when you said about.
This is our final segment. We're going to talk some Monsignor Martin girls basketball, and we're going to defer to Tim because he's got some seating and some dates, and take it away.
So in the large division, I guess we'll call it, the A division, there's a 5-team bracket, and that'll start with the 4 versus 5 game on this coming Friday, the 24th, which would be 5-seed Narden taking on 4-seed Sacred Heart. And then moving on to the semis, which would be Tuesday the 28th, that I believe will be at the top seed, which is Nichols. So both semifinals would be that Tuesday night, the 28th, at Nichols. It would be Nichols taking on the winner of the Sacred Heart Narden game, and then the 2-3 matchup of rivals, certainly over recent years, O'Hara, the 2-seed, taking on 3-seed St. Mary's. The finals would be the following that Thursday, March 2nd at Hilbert. And then don't forget there is also the Class A play-in game. So essentially the team who loses the final would play the winner of the third place game, essentially. And then those two teams would play off for the Class A representation in the Catholic State Tournament downstate. And then there is also the B division, which is Mount St. Mary's is the 1 seed. I believe Park and Mount Mercy are the 2-3. And I believe Buff Sem is the 4 seed. I believe I had that correct for those 4 teams play off for the Class B representative.
All right, well, thank you. And let's remind everybody that on March 2nd, the finals are at Hilbert, and they will be broadcast on Western New York Athletics, not NFHS, Western New York Athletics. So, Tom, give me your breakdown of the finals of the Monsignor Martin League. Some terrific players here. Kyla Hayes from O'Hara, Brianna Barr from Nichols. I like Quentin Betchley from Nichols as well. Emily McDonald at St. Mary's, and Maria Huss from Sacred Heart. So, Tom, this is quite a competitive league, and these playoffs should be fantastic.
No doubt. Like, you named some top players. And I'll tell you, I want to add something in. I know I heard Emily McDonald's interview. She's actually a second-year starter when you talk about playing on the varsity level, right? Because she played at Orchard Park last year at varsity. So technically, she's a 2-year starter up at the varsity level. Her brother also a varsity basketball player on the boys' side for Orchard Park. So I definitely want to add that in because we said it was the first year, but it was actually her second. And you named some of the top players there, and there's this really is going to be fun, right? You got Cardinal O'Hara, you got Nichols, which nobody doubt probably right now is 1-2. St. Mary's, though, has a win over Nichols. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about, don't think that St. Mary's is going to be in the mix right here. This is going to be a great run right here for the playoffs, and it could come down to, last possession, last shot in some of these games. It really could.
Well, O'Hara has won, 9 straight Monsignor Martin postseason championships. And you know what? O'Hara does not have a single senior on its roster.
Yeah, you look at these rosters, and particularly O'Hara and St. Mary's. St. Mary's has a few seniors on their roster, but they're essentially their top 8 or 9 players in terms of playing time are all underclassmen as well. So those two teams return just about everybody on their rosters. But you speak of the 9 straight Monsignor Martin postseason titles for O'Hara, and I don't think they've ever received a challenge over that stretch as they have this year. Of course, dropping a few regular season games to Nichols, and just the depth and quality of games across the board throughout the entire season. Sacred Heart, 2-6 in league play, but just about every one of their league losses was, they had late leads. They were 1, 2, 3 possession games down to the wire.
Tim, can I add somebody to that too that we didn't talk about?
Of course.
Megan Trapper needs to be added into that name too, right there. Okay. Even though we've been talking about Huss, absolutely the floor general, the point guard, right? Trapper's 22 points per game, 7 rebounds. She had her 1,000 points already this season. She's something special out on the court. It's a great 1-2 punch right there. I do not want to count her as one of the top players here in Monsignor Martin.
No, Megan Trapper is one of the best players at creating her own shot and getting her shot, especially late in games in the area, and certainly a player that you can count on to score when you need to bucket late in the game in this area.
Depending on how you classify Kaylee Kristoff from Depew, whether or not she's a point guard, Mariah Huss is the best true point guard in Western New York. Remember where you're hurt at. Her only flaw, in my opinion, she passes up a few open shots that she should probably take to keep the defense honest.
Well, obviously, you heard in my interview that I just did with her.
Bingo! You nailed it.
Like I said, she's the old school point guard, right?
Floor general.
Honestly, the point guard position has obviously changed, right, and evolved over time right now. But she's still that old school point guard that really believes in, an assist or a pass first right out there. And but she's got, like I said, the great 1-2 punch with Trapper. But I did ask Mariah the question, which I thought was key to this one. I said, I believe this year what I saw from you is that you're trying to drive to the hole early in that game and score now. Because what happens is if teams realize you're a scorer or have the capability of scoring, then those lanes are going to open up for you to kick out even more. If I've got to make sure I got to ride you and make sure I actually go all the way to the basket with you, not thinking that you're going to kick out first.
One more name I want to mention from Sacred Heart, because if she's on, just give her the ball and stay out of the way. 3-point shooter, Katarina. If she's hot, look out.
Yeah, they have a couple of really streaky shooters, and most
Polonius,
that have been mostly on the positive side of streaks lately. Yeah, Brooke Personas is another one who had a tremendous game against St. Mary's this past week as well. So, again, Sacred Heart, just the 4 seed, but capable of beating anybody in this bracket. Just the same way anybody is capable of beating any other team in this bracket for sure.
Anybody impressed with St. Mary's? How they lose a player like Shea Chesky and they're right back in it?
Well, you get a freshman that can score the way that Emily McDonald has. Is how they've retooled right there.
Yeah, and another player I want to mention, that's one of the few returnees for St. Mary's from last year is Jada Mushat, who, just a sophomore in her own right, has really raised her level of play this year, in my opinion, particularly on the defensive side. One of the top defenders in all of Western New York, in my opinion. A couple of tremendous defenders in MMA. Throw in Jordan Williams, of course, as one of the best defenders on O'Hara, and there's just across the board tremendous play in the MMA this year, of course, but particularly on the defensive side, Nichols as a team plays tremendous team defense. They have great length as a team across the board. Their zone can be suffocating at times. So, just it's not just all scoring in this day and age. That's what a lot of people like to talk about is the 3-point shooting and the scoring, but the defense for all 4 of these teams, that we mentioned, really is very high level.
Well, I saw Nichols beat Williamsville South earlier this year, a game they played at Damon, and they had some suffocating defense that night. I mean, Gretchen Dolan eventually got her 28, I think, but she couldn't really get on track. Their defense was that good. Again, I mentioned Quinn Benchley, Brianna Barr. It was just a really good team. And Nichols, I think, didn't they beat O'Hara too?
Yep.
Yeah,
twice.
They swept O'Hara. Once was against a sort of a depleted squad, but they played them at O'Hara a few weeks back with a full, both teams had full squads, and it came down to the wire, and Nichols was able to edge them in that one that essentially won them the top seed. But if those two teams were to meet again, either in the final or in a potential A qualifier or some other, I'd expect just another instant classic. They match up very well against each other. Neither team is particularly deep, but the starting five for each is probably the two best starting fives when healthy across.
I was just going to say, I think Nichols might be the best starting five in Western New York. Quickly about St. Mary's, another X factor on that team. She doesn't start, but she seems to be in there in critical situations, and that's Mackenzie Owens, the experience. She's only a junior, but she's got 4 years of varsity experience with two different schools.
Another player who's played on varsity since her 7th grade year, and she's just coming back off really in the last couple of weeks has been able to play full games for St. Mary's, and she's easing her way back in. But again, like you said, Raj, that experience come playoff time and that her shooting ability and just guile on the court can really help a very young team in St. Mary's. Could be a key piece if they're to try and defeat one of these top 2 seeds in O'Hara or Nichols.
And no pun intended, but my God, that knee brace she's wearing looks like it costs an arm and a leg. I'm telling you.
It's a hefty.
I saw that thing. Wow. You sure she's okay? She doesn't seem any worse for wear on the court.
Tim, I want to go back to Nichols and talk about Brianna Barr here for a minute. I personally do not believe that there is a player in Western New York that has the footwork around the basket that this young woman has right now. She, to me, is just that footwork is almost unstoppable when she gets set up in the blocks.
Yeah, she's, if there's a more dependable player at their position in Western New York, I don't think I've seen one because, she is in the post, she can step out and hit a three. She's working on that part of her game, but in the post, on offense and defense, she's probably the best and most consistent rebounder in Western New York. Her array of post moves has grown leaps and bounds this year, and she's already committed to UB. And to be honest, they could use her right now with the in the post. But yeah, she's a very 20 marked down 20 and 12, 20 something and 15 rebounds every game for Bree Barberton.
Yeah, and out top, the only other rebounder I've seen probably where you match is who we talked to earlier from Sweet Home is Lauren Hubert, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what that young woman has done from just a rebounding standpoint has been unbelievable. But I also think the difference in that game for Cardinal O'Hara versus Nichols will be which defense prevails, right? Because you will have a full court pressing defense come from Cardinal O'Hara versus the Nichols, like we said, sit back in that zone. Mm-hmm. Which defense is going to prevail? And it could be which defense gets the most steals or the most, deflections or whatever it takes to get points up on the other board. This truly could be where defense leads to the offense to be who wins that game.
I think somebody from O'Hara has got to hit a few threes in that game to get them to think about getting out of that zone. If that doesn't happen, I think Nichols wins the game.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see, right? Olivia Valone-Russell might be the one for O'Hara.
Bingo.
Yeah,
she's the X factor on that team.
Just a few more words about that potential matchup. In the most recent matchup, Sienna Tobia, the point guard for Nichols, really played one of her best, if not the best game I've ever seen her play in terms of her defense. Was able to get some steals and really ran the show very well for Nichols. Kept them moving and under control. And then another word on the O'Hara side, another X factor would be if Annabelle Day is able to go. She's currently injured.
She's got at least a week,
injured in that
maybe
Nichols
2
game, in fact.
Before coming back.
So would be great for Nichols and for viewing public as a whole if she could get back and complete that vaunted O'Hara starting five for the playoffs. But that's certainly something to watch on the O'Hara end as well.
All right. Anybody with any final thoughts? Start. Tom, anybody want to pick the player we'll be talking about most after all these playoffs are over? Anybody got any thoughts on that? And then we'll wrap it up here.
Yeah, that's like asking us who's the best singer ever from the British invasion.
Hey.
So Stu, I'll say this as far as Monsignor Martin. I know we're talking about Nichols and Cardinal O'Hara getting there. Don't count out St. Mary's. Don't count out, you know what I mean, Sacred Heart. I mean, there's anything can happen in one given game, and we know that. So please, Western New York, if you think that that's automatically a given, it's not. They've got to need to earn themselves into that championship game. You know,
enjoy the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to be great.
You know, if I can make one comment here is to Stu to back in what you're talking about is Western New York. There are some incredible young women out here playing basketball, and we've talked to some of them today, right? And there are many other ones that we didn't talk to today that are still a top player here in Western New York, right?
Oh, absolutely. We only get one player from any given school. I mean, we could double the amount of people by just saying there are probably number 2 players that should have been here ahead of some of the number 1 players. They're that good. There's so many out there.
You know, so, I mean, the point becomes is please go enjoy some of this basketball. See it live. There are some amazing young athletes that are going to play from Division I to Division III. You know, and not only that, we've got some Division I players in other sports, right? We talked about Hubert here for Sweet Home, Mia Vanelli of Depew, who's going to play Division I softball. That young woman, we haven't talked about enough right here, if we could say that. I mean, she, as an athlete, is just unbelievable what she brings to the table. I mean, we watched her young just in softball dominate games. Her athletic prowess is just unbelievable to watch, no matter what the sport that she's in. Sophie Auer, who was sick and couldn't be here, come on, we've already seen her do it on the soccer field.
Isn't she a soccer commit?
No, she's a Damon basketball commit.
Really?
I'm Jennifer Banks.
Glad to hear that.
He played soccer,
I
right?
thought so,
you know what
yes.
I mean? And we could go up and down and keep going. And, you know, one of the biggest ones you're going to come out and watch, Gretchen Dolan, right?
Yes,
I mean, you're
doubt.
talking about here's a young woman that can – you turn around and she'll put 50 points up on the board in the blink of an eye.
Well, you know, Tom, you and I saw Mia Vanilli hit a grand slam that's still traveling. Yeah. That was 2 years ago, and that ball's still going.
I went over the scoreboard there at Depew. That thing was a bomb. We thought remember the rain was about to come in. Yeah. We were all nervous. The broadcast was going to end. Mia, boom, and we're all just sitting there behind the plate going, wow. She is a true athlete. And then, again, we're not giving justice to the multiple other young women that was out here, you know, that are out there that can do the same exact thing. But if you really want to enjoy some basketball, go check out some of these games because we got some great young women.
And we do want to thank everybody for coming in to be interviewed today. We want to thank all of you for watching. And like Tom said, go watch some great basketball. The next couple of weeks are going to be absolutely fantastic. And we hope you enjoyed our preview show. For Tom Prince, Roger Weiss, Tim Lindner, and, of course, Francis Beck, our producer, who you can't see, but, you know, let's include Francis in this. He's responsible for the graphics.
Heidi Gunther's in there.
Oh, that's right. Heidi Gunther, too.
That's
Heidi. Right. I'm glad you reminded me. I'm sorry, Heidi. I did mean to say that. But anyway, thank you for all of you watching this show. Go and enjoy some high school basketball. It's that time of the year. We're just about in March, and madness is coming quickly. Thank you for watching. Have a good night, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with a boys basketball preview show.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
I love being home.
We realize now more than ever is the perfect time to have the perfect house. We're confident we'll find your dream home. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.